I'm gonna preserve my throat throughout this festival, I said before eating a slice of cheese. But hello, magindarang araw, magindar cannibal mermaid VTuber. We went from Hungry Ghost Festival, now we are in the Fall in Love virtual novel, Fall in Love Visual Novel Festival. I still don't know where the Steam link to that is, but if we knew it, we would post it. A lot of visual novels right now being streamed. Some of them are demos, some of them are on sale. Today we're playing Chronotopia Second Skin. Let me just Chronotopia Second Skin, which is a fairy tale based visual novel from French developer. Oh my god, I hope I pronounced this correctly. They're French developer. They have a German name, Tremendous Mädchen. Anyway, Tremendous Mädchen. They gave us a copy of Chronotopia's Second Skin to try out, and to be honest, quick trivia moment. The ripple effect that led me to to being a VTuber started with Cinderella, because this is a how is this game described? Chronotopia's Second Skin is based on a Mother Goose tale, Mother Goose or like Charles Sparrow, tale called Donkey Skin. Donkey Skin is it follows the Cinderella archetype. There's a rich girl that becomes poor because of circumstances that had to do with her father losing, like her mother dying and her father being very, very heartbroken about it. And then as she becomes poor, she works hard, and then a guy's like, oh shit, I will only marry whoever fits this random item that I have. And then the guy finds her and they fall in love ever after the end. She's rich now. So that's the Cinderella archetype. And like way back when I was still, how many years ago? What's that? I had this friend, right? I was going home with a friend. We shared the same dorm, and he was like, hey, Mags, you know that every country has their own version of Cinderella, right? And that question has led to the rabbit hole of me just going on the deep dive of researching, like, holy shit, what are the similarities in other countries' folklore? Blah 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 blah. This was more coherent in my head. Anyway, so like donkey skin to get us all up to speed of the fairy tale that we will be exploring. Although the game will like summarize it at some point. Or like it's the entire game. It's not a summary. The game's really long. So the tale of donkey skin goes like this. There was once this king and queen, and they ruled their very, very prosperous country because they get funds from a magical donkey that shits out gold or something like that. Anyway, it's like the golden goose, but donkey. So there's this donkey, he shits out gold, and the king and the queen of that kingdom has been using this gold to better the lives of their citizens. At some point, the queen dies, and like the king, who's very in love with the queen, was like, oh no, I don't know what to do without you. How will I go on? I love you very much. And the queen's like, oh no, don't worry. I don't want you to be sad. So when I die, promise me one thing. Promise me you'll never be lonely. Promise you'll remarry someone who's just as wise and just as beautiful as I am, so that we can continue like this legacy we have of like ruling this beautiful kingdom. And the king's like, no, 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 I will never marry anyone. Never marry anyone. So for like years, the king doesn't marry anyone. But the thing is, his daughter, they had a daughter, the princess, eventually grows up to be as beautiful and as wise as her mother. Which, you know, loophole, mother never said don't marry the daughter. King's like, oh shit, I think I have to marry my daughter now because she fits the criteria of who I can marry, as wise and as beautiful as my late wife, my teenage daughter. The daughter, obviously, the princess, terrified, like, holy shit, my dad wants to marry me. So she sets upon like some like a few like wait, no, there's a fairy godmother in all of this because it's a Cinderella story. So there either has to be like a fairy, a ghost dead mom that's helping you, or what else is there? The Filipino version, in one of the Filipino versions, it's a forest spirit. So like kind of like a fairy, but we're not exactly sure. But yeah, anyway, the fairy godmother of the princess goes like, okay, here's what you do so that we aren't from Alabama. No, we're in France right now. So like the fairy godmother of the princess goes, okay, you're gonna have to ask your father some impossible tasks. Okay, you're gonna stall for time. You're gonna make him do the impossible. So the princess is like, okay. First, dad, I want a really, really beautiful dress. A very impossibly beautiful dress. And dad's like, fuck that. I'm rich. He makes her a beautiful dress. The daughter's like, ah shit, my dad made a dress. Dad, I want this beautiful jewelry. The dad's like, again, we're rich. Screw the rules. I have money. Here's your beautiful thing. Thank you for the first redeem, Sprout. I'm talking about how a version of Cinderella where like the dad wants to marry the daughter. Ayo. So anyway, alright. So like third condition, the fairy godmother's like, okay, fuck. Your dad's not relenting. Your dad's not seeing reason that he shouldn't marry his daughter. Here's what you do. Remember the donkey that shits out gold? That's the funds for your entire kingdom. Surely your father will not kill that donkey in order to marry you. That's gonna ruin the entire kingdom. After marrying the prince and becoming the king's wife, then invade Atlantis. That's right. That's what we do. That's the ending. Anyway, so like the daughter's like, okay, dad, if you really want me, if you really want to marry me, go kill the fucking donkey. And the dad's like, bet. So he kills the donkey. And the daughter's like, Oh, shit. The fairy godmother's like, okay, okay, I still got you, girl. I still got you, girl. Skin the donkey, wear its hide. No one will suspect a beautiful princess is disguised as a donkey. Run the fuck away. So she runs away, dressed as a donkey. She gets hired as like a serving maid in like another kingdom. Everyone thinks she's ugly because she's dressed as a donkey. But like at some point, right, sometimes she wears rings, sometimes she wears jewelry. One of her rings falls out of her finger, lands on like eventually makes it to the prince's lap or something. Like the prince, obviously the prince is going to get like, oh, it's a beautiful ring from a dainty hand. I must only marry the woman whose finger fits this ring. And so he does the thing where he goes from woman to woman, like, do you fit the ring? Do you fit the ring? And then like he sees like the girl in the donkey skin, and it's like, oh shit, well, it's a girl with the donkey skin. I'm still gonna try, maybe, just maybe. And then she wears the ring. And the prince is like, oh shit, this is the woman I have to marry. It's the girl in the donkey skin. And then she's like, she removes her donkey skin, like, nah, actually, I'm a beautiful princess all along. We can marry. And they lived happily ever after. The end. Anyway, it started with Alabama. That's the summary of the fairy tale that we're gonna explore today, called Chronotopia's Second Skin. The game has a bit of a narrative framing device where you start as a soul who jumped off a building, ends up in purgatory, and now you're studying a fairy tale to see what kind of person you were like back when you were alive. But we're gonna skip all that. It's beautifully written, by the way. The characters are that Taylor's part prologue are great. It's just for the interest of time, we're gonna skip that. We're gonna go load directly to the fairy tale. Doesn't anyone watch Shrek? Who did the donkey marry to? The dragon. We're gonna marry a dragon. By the way, the romance options in this game, 2 women, 1 guy. So like that's what we are in right now. So we're just gonna skip the entire narrative framing device of being an idea, an unhatched idea, or a soul in purgatory. It's really not clear. I mean, it could be anything, honestly. We're gonna skip all of that. We're gonna go straight to the fairy tale, like, past, okay? Basically, we're a guy who jumped off the building, and now we have to like look for our memories in a fairy tale. This is the mirror of your soul. Yay, let's go to the fairy tale. Once upon a time in a land far, far away. I'm going to go back to the D&D's nuts. Descendant from a great family from the Mauritania who had settled in Europe, the princess was as wise as she was beautiful. With her thirst for justice and strong personality, she was soon handed the reins of the country. Her wealth came from a magical donkey she had inherited from her ancestors. The animal could produce gold and jewels at will. She collected them to erect roads and buildings which would serve the interest of her people. Under her reign, works of art and projects of all sorts were developed. Her people lived without ever having to fear hunger. Fear and hunger? Oh my god, I miss playing Fear and Hunger. Since she always found a solution. Getting back to D&D, nice. The attention she had for her people, as well as the vast power her wealth gave her, made the young princess hugely respected across the country, and everybody praised her. God seemed keen on satisfying her in return. The princess indeed fell deeply in love with a young, inexperienced but honest noble who had eyes for nobody else. That's gonna change eventually. He was from a famous family of 12 sons. Since he was one of the last born, he lacked attention and desired to settle far from them so he could write his own tale. He gave him love and respect, and he asked for nothing more. From their marriage, a lovely daughter was born, and she was already on the path to become as wise and as brave as her mother. Year after year, the king and queen ruled together as fairly as possible. The magical donkey, from which there came their wealth, was treated well, and the couple's life seemed perfectly desirable. I'm A magical atmosphere hung over the realm, and there were rumors the queen had to be part fairy to meet success in everything she was doing. No other country looked more like a fairy tale come true than this one. As the couple was enjoying their life, full of ideas to make their country a better place, misfortune eventually struck. The queen, who everyone thought invulnerable, fell critically ill. Even though the king called for the best physicians in the world, nobody was able to find a cure for the sickness that was devouring the queen from the inside. Days passed, citizens were getting more and more restless, and the family more and more depressed, but to no avail. Realizing she was going to draw her last breath, the queen spoke to her husband on her deathbed. She was still young, and she would have gladly kept working on all major undertaken projects. But she was even more remorseful for leaving her husband and her daughter so soon, as she loved them both so tenderly. So many things to do, so many memories to have, so many beautiful moments to live. Alas, pain was carving a deep chasm to her chest. As the king was leaning over and stretching a hand towards her, with the saddest look he ever had, she was struggling to tell him her last will, her face partially paralyzed, ridden with painful spasms. The queen exhaled excruciating moans. "My dear, this is the end of for me." "Hush, don't say such a thing. Don't wear yourself out. I still believe, I have to believe. We'll find a cure and you will be better soon, I promise."
"It's hopeless. I know this.
"No, I can't believe it."
Before I depart, I would like you to do something for me. Never marry our fucking daughter. That's... End this plot right now. I love you. You know it. And I love the young princess too. I cannot stand imagining you crying over my death for too long. I want you to be happy above everything else."
"What are you trying to imply, my dear?"
"I know how you are. You will not be able to accept my death. You have always searched for my eyes, for my attention. I already know all too well how sad you will be. But you will not be able to mourn my death until the end of time."
"I would rather follow you in death than live without you, my lady."
"How silly of you. The kingdom needs you. Our daughter needs you. Don't leave them behind, even for my sake."
"But
Sooner or later, you will have to overcome my death. I want you to live, my beloved. I want you to live for me."
I'll never stop thinking about you."
"In that case, please allow me to request something. I insist that you remarry. Find someone who will make you happy again. Someone who can take my place in the eyes of the people, of our daughter, the princess."
"But I can't do this. Nobody will ever replace you in my heart."
"I know it's painful. It's painful for me as well. Deep down, I feel so angry imagining you in the arms of somebody else. But I'm not selfish. I want you to be happy above anything else. If I'm not here anymore, I at least want a woman as wise as me to know how to heal your heart. This is my last wish."
"That's the last wish, okay? That's the last wish. No more wishes, no more wishes. This is the safest, lastest wish. All right, let's go." "How could I fulfill such a cruel request? You are the one my heart craves, the only one."
The queen laughed sadly. Fever and pain were gnawing at her. Soon it became near impossible for her to talk. Her eyes were getting more and more obfuscated to the point that she was unable to make out her husband's grieving face as he cried beside her. Stretching a hand towards him, towards the light, she tried rubbing his cheek one last time. Regretfully, she could not help silently shedding tears. The aching was becoming so intense she was gradually losing her touch with reality. "My fate is such a cruel one. I only want to live by your side, to bask in your innocent smile for all eternity. Yet I have to go. That is God's will. I don't want to, of course. Of course I do not. It's too soon. There are so many things I have to do here. It is too late, however. I can't do anything but face it. The mere idea of being replaced is harrowing. To imagine someone else living in my quarters ordering my retainers settling in my home, to think about someone else in your arms, embracing you, kissing you, giving you new airs. To think about someone else gaining the affection of my daughter, attending her wedding, raising and supporting her. It is making me die inside. Jealousy is eating what remains of me. I would rather still be here. I would rather have lived those beautiful days forever. But it's impossible. So even if it pains me, even if the thought is unbearable, you must find happiness. You must forget me. And that is so painful to me. You probably thought I would face death with dignity, that I would be stoic and calm. That's how people see me. However, I'm only human after all. I wish I had been more righteous. But amidst this pain that's steering my body to dust, all that remains are regrets. Thus they bid a fearful farewell to each other. Some time later, the queen died in unbearable suffering, and the king was inconsolable. And my computer refreshed for some reason which worries me. As sensitive and deeply in love as he was, he considered that no girl from any good family could ever rival his late wife. He consequently refused to remarry and swore to never change his mind. The whole kingdom was mourning the death of its queen. One of the greatest ceremonies ever made was organized in her honor. It went on for several days and nights. Whether farmer or merchant, rich or poor, each citizen took part in the funeral. They decorated the city with lanterns in several places. Some water lanterns were even put on a great lake for her sake. At night, the candles could be seen all the way from the lord's castle. The young princess, who was as sorrowful as her father, found comfort in admiring those lights. Those flickering lights looked like spots of hope to her. However, the country seemed to be consumed by a steadfast evil, harbinger of storms. Thus, things would never be the same again. As the years passed, the kingdom slowly declined. The king had lost any hint of motivation and could not bring himself to do anything since his wife had died. This motherfucker. I mean, I understand grief is bad, but like, therapy, man. He canceled all the great works the country was working on, thinking they had all lost meaning without her. Farmers, you are never getting that irrigation system. Fuck you, my wife is dead. And he locked himself up in stillness and silence. The citizens felt neither heard nor supported, and discontent was growing. Yet the king did not care. It almost seemed like he was trying to be hated by his people. Only the magical donkey was keeping the kingdom from going bankrupt. However, the inevitable happened. The donkey's fame went beyond the kingdom's borders, and several neighboring and wealth-seeking lords tried to invade the lands, leaving them scarred with wars. The once lively castle was now a shadow of its former self. Artists and merchants were fleeing one after another, looking for more auspicious lands. The people had lost all faith in their lord. At first, the king's apathy and inexperience was convenient for the nobles. Since he was handling the country rather poorly and was showing no sign of resistance, opportunistic counselors took advantage of the situation to seize control of the realm and get richer behind his back. However, the decadent mood was not so convenient anymore. After some time, but was it not already too late? The counselors realized that there was nothing to be expected from the current king, who had become impassive. He had to do something fast for the greater good. Factions appeared. Some thought the king could still take care of the realm until the princess's wedding with whom would be the new king. Others precisely hoped for the princess to seize the throne earlier than expected, while some others advised the king to find a new wife who could revive his will, or even that he go back to his homeland and leave the country with a new government. The most extremist nobles had no problems suggesting taking care of the king once and for all, but that last option would not satisfy anyone. I think that would have been for the best considering what's going to happen in the plot, but anyway. They all lived in the wake of the previous queen, and they had all wanted to honor her memory, but no one seemed to understand what she had been trying to build. Because of those long struggles, King Thibaud was asked to find a new wife day after day. However, he was still obstinately refusing to do so. His most faithful counselors were growing desperate.
But your excellency, the whole kingdom's fate is at stake. You cannot remain impassive while some are scheming for your death or your replacement. Exactly, your excellency. Your lack of action is folly. I don't know why, I don't know. That was the first voice. You must choose someone to live by your side to put an end to those complaints weighing on your shoulders. Hi, Marcel. I don't know. I'm running out of voices. Wait, let me shout you out, goofy ass game about donkeys and incest. I don't care. Let them kill me if this is what they want. To follow my queen is my only wish. I was dooning. You cannot say that, your excellency. The queen would always think of the kingdom's best interests. If you don't give up the kingdom, you betray her memory, Shots. So be it. If you don't want to manage the kingdom, then why keep this masquerade going? You should have married the princess off much earlier. Think of your daughter. It's time for her to see something else. My daughter, the princess, may hate me for all I care. My whole kingdom too. No one will ever be as great as my departed wife. But my lord! Enough! I don't want to see you anymore for today. Begone, leave me alone. To wallow in my corruption and my wealth and my sadness.
Horrified, the counselors could feel the kingdom's ruin looming. While some were already planning a coup d'etat and were fighting over some arbitrary throne, the loyalists thought they had to find a way to pierce through the king's walls. To get a better understanding of the king's psyche, they called an old druid.
Go and try to convince King Thibaud to find a new wife. We're ready to do anything to make him change his mind, regardless of whom would be the wife he chose. Exact words, guys. Give specifications. How about like, are you sure you don't care? Are you sure you don't care who she's marrying?
Don't worry, sirs. Just sit by. The druid, who was dishonest but quite crafty, happened to be peerless when it came to influencing the human soul. As soon as he appeared before the gloomy king, he had made a great impression thanks to the mysterious look he had perfected.
Man.
Your Highness, your counselors invited me here today because they're worried about your health. Speak freely. What's weighing on your heart?
The death of my wife, of course. It's been 10 long years. I've lost any desire to live since she died in my arms. I cannot see nor hear. I keep on brooding over the past again and again.
I understand. The Queen's ghost still haunts you and you are a prisoner of the past. Yet could this spell be broken? You wish for the good of the kingdom, do you not?
Naturally. I wanted to follow through with her work. I wanted to be strong. But I let myself be shut away by time and decay. It's far too late now.
If I may, I think there's a solution. You have to find a young woman who can become the new queen.
No one can do it. I have taken a look at the portraits of all the neighboring girls from good families who were ready to be wed. They have all been sent to me, all of them. There is not a single woman with her qualities.
Yet you do not wish to meet with any of them. Why not give them a chance to show you who they are?
It doesn't matter. I already know it.
Could it be that you're taking the queen's last wish to heart and you're only ready to wed a far more beautiful woman than she was?
Ultra simp, so much. I guess you could call him that. Beauty is indeed enjoyable, and I do not really care about it. I only ask her to be wise, smart, and righteous.
Are you looking for someone who shares her traits? Genetics, motherfucker!
The king stood still. Given the awkward silence, the druid knew he was right. The king did not just want any princess in the area. He wanted someone who looked like his departed wife as much as possible.
And if there were a Moorish princess, would you consider marrying her?
Maybe.
Then, Your Highness, I know only one such person. One righteous and wise princess who looks exactly like our departed queen. I know where this is going. We know where this is going, right? She lives near you at the moment.
And who might she be?
I have a portrait of her with me. I think it's the only one you did not glance at.
Really? Why would my counselors hide this mysterious princess from me?
See for yourself.
The ambitious druid handed the portrait to the aging king. He grabbed it and paced up and down across the room in a revealing silence. She's magnificent. This face, this skin, this expression. She's lovely. Are you telling me that she is wise and righteous?
Absolutely, Your Highness. She has received the best education.
I recognize those eyes. I could swear I'm looking at my wife. How is this possible? Who is this foreign girl?
She is Princess Kiona, your daughter, Your Majesty.
My daughter? And this is the part where the king's like, nah, stop this. We're not gonna do this. We're not gonna do this. Shut the fuck up. Kill the druid. But no. The king was shocked for a split second. Depression had taken hold of him to the point of cutting him off from reality. To be honest, he had refused to see his daughter since the queen's funeral because her mere presence reminded him of those beautiful days forever lost. He did not even know what she looked like or what kind of woman she had become. He suddenly felt shameful. Are you making a fool of me, druid? Are you telling me to marry my own daughter?
Fuck yeah, I am. Genetics, motherfucker. Admittedly, it must sound rather extreme, but think about it, Your Highness. Is there someone else who could look more like your departed wife than her?
I don't know, maybe she had a twin, you know?
Is it not troubling? I would even say it's a gift from God.
A divine gift, you say? This bitch of a druid.
Princess Kiona looks too much like her departed mother for it to be a mere coincidence. This is God's will. The queen's soul did not go to heaven, it settled in that younger tailor-made body. She's simply wanting for you to find her, my lord. Do not miss this second chance.
Again, this bitch. Confused by the old druid's silver-tongued words, King Thibaud hesitated and eventually sent the man away, claiming he would think about it. You don't have to think about it. You just say no. He's suggesting you marry your daughter. We need this to happen for the plot. But the seed had already been planted. Weakened by his unstable state, the king was already struggling not to completely succumb to despair. The flickering hope the swindling druid had brought to him was enough to make the king fall into darkness. Yep. Little by little, over the course of the increasingly frequent visits from the man who would become his confidant, the king started to give in to the idea they playing Crusader King. Maybe yes. The druid had a way of implying that the young princess was actually the reincarnation of her mother, and that she surpassed her in everything, so much so that the impressionable king eventually believed him. This new obsession was the only thing which was keeping him alive from this point forward. And thus, he did the unforgivable. Wait, he should have just been assassinated, to be honest, at this point. That morning, a sweet scent hung in the castle's corridors. The azure sky hinted at a beautiful spring day ahead. In the feeble light illuminating a four-poster bed, a silhouette was quietly moaning. All of a sudden, hurried footsteps could be heard nearby and the door was slammed open. A breathless young retainer entered the suite. Princess, it's time to wake up! A muffled groan was her only answer. I would love to let you sleep, but I cannot do so, unfortunately. Do not forget that your private tutor has scheduled a lesson for this morning.
The figure moved laboriously.
Is that you, Nahima?
Who else, princess? I'm the one waking you up every morning. Now please make haste and get out of bed. We need to perform your toilette. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. It's not toilet, right? It's toilette. It's like getting dressed every morning when you have a maid to help you do that for you. The young woman stood up without a word and let her lady in waiting guide her. Through precise and vigorous gestures, she made her take a bath and then took care of dressing her. You're a teenager, you should probably know how to do this yourself, but you know what, nobles? Just as the retainer was going to brush her hair, Fiona finally seemed to get out of her torpor.
What is this flowery scent that has been tickling my nose since this morning?
It must be verbanas, princess. It is the season after all. Verbanas are quite exquisite flowers, don't you think? All those colors.
Maybe.
I see that you're not fully awake yet. Did you happen to spend a rough night?
I don't know. All that I remember is that I dreamt for quite a long time.
What did you dream about, princess? I was with you. You know what? Good dream. I was the queen. Might mean we married the king. I was a ghost. I was alone. Du-du-dum, da, da-da-da. You know what? If Nahima is with us, I think we'll be fine, right? We'll be fine. This means the king did that. She will save us from the king. Please.
That I was with you.
Some choices will impact the story later on.
We were both in a vast flower field on a sunny day. I think you were weaving a crown while claiming me your queen.
Ayo? Romantic? Girls kissing girls? Ayo? Oh! It almost sounds romantic.
Romantic, I don't know. However, I clearly remember that I was feeling incredibly serene. Do you think that is a good omen?
Assuredly, in any case, that is all I wish for you. Your dream was surely very pleasant, princess, but you should not fall asleep again. Don't forget that your lesson is supposed to start soon. Oh man, they're both so cute. I wish you didn't have to marry the king.
Don't worry about me, Nahima. I'm quite positive the poor sod will be late again anyway.
Princess, you should not speak ill of your tutor. He's an excellent teacher. What has he planned for today?
I don't know. We have completely given up on arithmetic over the past couple of days, and we are now focusing on practicing singing and playing the harp.
You're only studying music? Why this sudden change?
It's a request from my father, so it seems. I do not know why. I have not seen him for years. I thought he had no more interest in me.
Oh, you're gonna wish that he had no more interest in you, man. I'm sure that the king is simply a bit shy. Though he can get on his high horse, he may not even dare to be near you after your mother's death.
I think he resents me. Why would that be? One way or another, he must be ashamed of me. He surely found a mistress after all this time, and sooner or later, he will tell me that he wants to repudiate me.
Oh, you wish he found a mistress. You wish he did. That would not be correct of him.
In that case, why has he not tried to marry me off? I am 17 years old. Is that not unusual?
Oh, this is the medieval times. You're old. Oh, you're old. You're 17. Ew. Baby girl.
I do like the freedom, but I cannot shake the feeling that this is a bad omen. After all, young girls from good families are wed between 12 and 14 years old. I'm getting old, and at this rate, no one will ever want to marry you.
This is probably... You know what? No, get older and then get married. I'm gonna get stressed over all of the fairy tale related shit that I have. Well, I have two games set in the medieval era lined up, and like the part where they go like,
I'm already old. I'm like 20.
Like, God, you're babies with a lovely face like yours. Perish the thought. You are as beautiful as an angel, princess. She is very beautiful. The art is very cute and smart at that. No prince should ever refuse your hand.
Thank you, Nahima.
It is nice of you to comfort me. You know I mean it. Look at that beautiful hair. I could brush it for hours without getting bored. Fiona gave a faint but tender smile. Nahima had been her lady-in-waiting, her personal assistant, and her confidant for many, many years. As far as she could remember, they had been inseparable. Older only by 2 years, Nahima happened to share the heiress's Mauritanian origins. However, unlike Fiona's family, which had always consisted of famous nobles, Nahima's humbler family had settled in the region as retainers. The late queen herself had entrusted the young Mauritanian servant, and that was how she had become the princess's lady-in-waiting despite her humble origins. She was now greatly enjoying taking care of the princess, and the sudden death of the queen had only brought them closer. It was, without a doubt, Nahima's optimism and kindness that were allowing Fiona to live a comfortable life despite the grim state of the country. And also the donkey that shits out gold probably helps. Between the lessons intended to hone her knowledge and the time spent with her retainer, the heiress was not lacking in anything. Yet she was feeling deeply bored and, to her dismay, no party could ever awaken the sleeping castle. If things keep going like this, I'm going to die of old age within these walls, she thought, a bit melancholic. No one will ever look for me. No one will ever come to save me. And I will end up alone in this depressing place. Oh, you wish. You wish. She did not want to show Nahima her anguish, so she tried her best to smile. With the brushing done, the two girls left the room to attend to their occupations. Once the servant was out of sight, the princess sighed. Even though Nahima was her confidant and she trusted her, there was one thing Fiona had never told her. Something was troubling her. She sometimes felt like she's being watched, especially on a day like this one. As the weather was sunny, her tutor enjoined her to go to the palace's inner garden to begin her recital. You know, just a spot where everyone can see you, do your Disney princess song, it's fine. And as she had foreseen, the princess felt someone insistently looking at her as she was singing, a gaze that was coming from inside the king's cabinet. Run, princess, run! The sad thing is you could empathize with the king, but like, fuck you for trying to marry your daughter, really. As usual, the king was observing his daughter from afar, staring with her with a desire that was not hidden anymore. Uncomfortable. The old druid had grinded him down, and now the king was desperate as he was convinced he had to marry her. That day, his counselors had gathered at his request. He was going to inform them of his decision. The mood was heavy. Everyone felt something major was about to happen, and they were as worried as they were eager to hear what the king had to say. Thank you all for coming. As you know, many of you have been begging me to remarry. Until now, I was quite against it, as I wanted to keep the promise I had made to my late wife. However, I have finally found someone worthy of replacing her and sitting beside me on the throne. Yippee! We don't know what's coming next. A round of applause filled the room. The counselors seemed both incredulous and ecstatic. Thank you for making that decision, Your Highness. You may have thought of us as insensitive, but we were only doing it for your sake and the kingdom's. Absolutely, and we are sure the woman you have chosen will be up to the task. Could you tell us who the lady who managed to entice you might be? Of course. I will not hide the truth for much longer. She whom my heart has chosen is Princess Fiona, and I hereby officially announce my decision to marry her. In a shared movement of fear, all the counselors fell silent. Some thought they had misheard, others that it was a misunderstanding. One brave soul decided to break the ice and shyly asked,
Um, Princess Kiona? Your daughter? My daughter, indeed. Pain. Excuse me. Accidentally swallowed my spit from the pain. Loud whispers filled the king's cabinet. A mix of horror and bewilderment could be seen on the faces of the nobles. Time seemed to have stopped, and the cheerings had been replaced by contempt and cold glares. Another counselor dared to speak. But, Your Highness, with all due respect, you cannot marry your own daughter. The church says. Did you not swear a few seconds ago to accept my choice, whatever it would be? Are you never satisfied? I'm finally fulfilling your wish, and this is still not enough? You rascals, begone and know I will not change my mind. I will propose to Kiona this very day. ah. Thus, the counselors were chased from the king's cabinet like criminals. Gathered in the corridor, they soon began arguing aloud, exposed to all the retainers who were passing by. And now all of China knows you want to marry your daughter. Good shit. The king has gone crazy. We had tried to warn you. We should have gotten rid of him. You fools, this is all your fault. The druid you paid so generously is a sham. He put some devilish thoughts into his head. Look at the result. It's just a sleight of hand. By marrying the princess, he's trying to keep the kingdom under his yoke. No, bro, he's really horny for his daughter. Don't... I'm sorry. Once the wedding is consummated, we will not be able to exile him anymore, nor will we be able to ally with Kiona to take back power. We are at his mercy. It is still possible to appoint an assassin and... Enough! It's because of you extremists that we are in this bind. Really? If you schemers had managed to come to an agreement, maybe we wouldn't be here. Us? Are you not the ones who let the druid do as he pleased? Let's face the fact, you loyalists are at fault. They soon come to blows, and the news quickly spread to the whole castle like wildfire. Great tale. Great chismes. As she was coming back from her tutor, Princess Kiona took the opportunity to wander in the near-empty palace, still in a melancholic mood. Everyone in the palace knows except for her. This sucks. Once again, she had felt her father observing her, whether it be while singing in the garden or later that day during other lessons. He had never stopped staring at her. She had noticed his behavior for some time, and she could not help but feel a deep unease. Wait, what? Was he, the man that she had not seen for so many years, interested in her again? Was it an awkward way for him to make amends, as Nahima said? Or was it for a far darker reason? Fiona had a bad feeling about this. Some other day she would have dismissed those thoughts, but today was special. All day long, she had been under the impression that the servants were whispering things in her path. Something weird was definitely going on. With a knot in her stomach, she shook her head nervously. I should stop thinking about it. It can only hurt me. She suddenly noticed the castle was bathing in sunset. Already that late? I must make haste. I promised Nahima I would pay her a visit. Well. What do we have here? As the princess was walking towards the castle's kitchen, where most of the retainers were at that time of the day, she felt a presence behind her back. Reflexively, she turned back and caught a glimpse of a man standing before her. Her heart skipped a beat like never before, due to the surprise. Surprise! It's your dad and a wedding ring! Astounded, she tried to fan herself to get rid of the warmth that was spreading through her own body. Mixed message. I can see why that would be a confusing, gesture, but you know what? Understandable. It's the fires of hell. The fires of hell are coming, and she needed a few seconds to recognize this solemn man, but any possible doubt had vanished. It was the king.
Father, I've not seen you in many years.
Are you surprised, my daughter?
Well, you seem to be avoiding me since the death of Mother.
I regret that very much. Have I made you suffer?
Yes, Father, I just want to speak with you again, if possible.
All these years, it was only inhabited by loneliness and bitterness. I did not want you to see me like this, but today I've decided this cannot continue.
I'm glad to hear that, Father.
Still petrified because of how surreal the scene was, Kiona politely answered while taking a close look at the man's faded and worn out face. Had he always looked that tired, that aloof? Couldn't remember. It's been a long-ass while. The unexpected presence of the king could have been a great moment of happiness for the young woman, but in the shadows of the looming night, she could glimpse a red light in his eyes, crazed and bloodthirsty light. Uh, With each word, the king was getting closer, looking more and more threatening, like a raven spreading out its wings. The unease did not leave Kiona's fluttering heart.
Is that why you come to see me, Father? As a token of reconciliation?
Better than that. You want to be by my side, do you not? I know of a way to bring us closer, but this hope rests on you. I don't want to marry my dad. Do you love me?
I love you, like a daughter must love her father.
Great answer! Great answer! Weird that you have to specify that, but very smart that you did. This is not what I want to hear. I love you, my daughter, and I've decided to marry you. Fiona could feel her blood rushing through her veins. Cold sweat was running down her spine. She still didn't want to believe it.
My apologies, Father, but the church's teachings.
I don't care about those. Forget them. I love you and I want to make you my spouse.
But I cannot. That would be a crime.
That's right. That's a crime. Unfortunately, he is the king and he is the law, so He cut her pleading short with a voice as sharp as steel. I think you do not quite understand. You will marry me, whether you want to or not. I have your life in my hands. You have no choice but to obey me. Terrified, Kiona glanced around her, but there was no way to escape. The king's imposing stature was blocking the corridor. Yet an overwhelming urge to run away was tormenting her from the inside. He had to find a way. She tried to negotiate.
Please, at least give me some time to think about it.
The old king scowled at her, displeased. You have 1 hour, no more, no less. I will be in your bedchamber, finished thinking about my proposal by then. No, 1 hour. The story promises a few days. Wait, hold up. Then he turned around and walked away, his cloak floating through the wind, leaving the princess lost and shocked. As he was vanishing from her field of vision, turned red by dusk, she let herself fall on the ground.
This isn't what I wanted.
Leaving the princess to her sorrow, the old king went back to the druid who had advised him so well. Hello, hi Dev. The druid's such a little shit. Let me tell you how I feel about the druid right now, Helios. He's such a little shit. Thank you for the game. I am gripped with fear. Leaving the princess to her sorrow, the old king went back to the druid who had advised him so well. Druid, my confidant, speak frankly. Is my love for Kiona sinful? Yes! Yes, it is! Yes! 100% yes! But the druid won't say that because he's shit. Not if your feelings are mutual, your highness. Has she become enamored with you? I don't know. She seemed confused, shaken. Am I making a mistake?
Her confusion is only natural, Your Highness. The princess is still young. She cannot analyze her feelings well yet.
The princess is young. She's 17. And yet she should have been married off at around 14 to like 16 was the age range. Medieval times. Good times. Good times. Let's never go back.
With some time, she will perfectly get used to it.
So I must give her time.
More than time, she needs to forget her reluctance. For that reason, you should, for instance, answer to her every whim. If you shower her with presents, she will soon understand how strong your love is, Your Highness.
I will keep that advice in mind for after the wedding. But tell me, do you have a daughter?
Unfortunately, I do not, Your Highness. But believe me, if I had one, I would not think twice before marrying her.
Jail! 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 Everyone in this room, jail. Pleased with the druid's cajolery, King Tibod got out of his cabinet, even more determined than before to make his daughter yield. But the chancellor should. It doesn't need to be specified. Why am I even saying that it had to be specified that the king could not marry his own daughter? It did not need specifying. It shouldn't need specifying. After that overwhelming encounter, to say the least, Kiona went almost mechanically to her bedroom. The druid's the best source of civilized counsel. He was asked to do a thing. He was asked to convince the king to marry someone. He is doing his job. To the letter. Then she silently sat on her bed like a dislocated automaton. She found a bit of comfort in her misfortune. She now understood why the king seemed so weirdly reticent to marry her off. He wanted her for himself. But it was not morally acceptable. After all, he was the man who had conceived her, and the principles she had been taught were quite clear about this. I feel animal entrails would be more useful for advice than the druid at this point. Yep. Speaking of druids and animal entrails, oh man, the seed kona from, what was that Netflix show? I just like the seed kona from that show. It's good shit. I don't remember the ending. Okay, now I need to Google what that Netflix show is. Seed kona. I like how Google knows. Oh, the seed. Google knows. Okay, Twilight of the Gods. There we go. That show with the entrail switch. I love the entrail switch in that show. Had he gone crazy? Was he trying to damn her to hell? A rush of disgust violently seized her throat. No, this was not right. Speaking of disgust, I'm gonna drink water. It's been an hour. What the hell? I hydrate and stretch for myself. The footstep sound effects makes me think someone's banging on my door. It's great. Deep in morbid thought, the princess hardly noticed the sound of hurried footsteps coming closer. The grating noise of the door made her jolt. Was he already? Fortunately, it was just Nahima who seemed as scared as her. Oh, princess, I've just heard the news from the mouth of another servant. I came here as fast as I could. Thank you, Nahima, but your effort was in vain. My father told me I had no choice, that he would marry me, whether I want it or not. The hour for thought I requested is almost over. There's nothing we can do. Don't say that, princess. There's still some hope left. You will be here in a matter of minutes. I will never be able to find a solution in such a short time. Time's what we need. Like my mother always said, it's not good to think in haste. We have to find a way to buy time to get yourself off the hook. How can I buy time without upsetting him? He seemed as hurried as he is irritated. If I were to ask him for another delay, he would certainly refuse. That's why you have to be sly. Rather than directly asking him for more time, pretend you demand a gift from him as a token of goodwill. A gift? That is to say...
asked for something so rare and complex, it would be almost impossible for him to obtain it. Thus, even if he manages to give it to you, you would have bought quite some time nonetheless. And if he does not keep his commitment, then it's even better. That's a good idea. However, I have to find something to ask him without sounding suspicious. If I were to request some Far Eastern china from him, he could argue that this is not necessary, or promise to buy some after our wedding. You're right. Nahima rubbed her chin with a pensive look. Time. We need time. All of a sudden, she clapped her hands. I know, Princess. Demand that he gives you a dress the color of time. It is common for a future bride to want new clothes to appear a proper lady in the arms of her spouse. You will not be able to refuse. And since time has no color, no tailor, even a fairy one, will ever manage to craft such a dress. Nahima, you're a genius. Mwah! Under the influence of relief. Oh. Okay, they didn't kiss, but they did hug. Nice. Fiona flew into her retainer's arms, who consequently went as red as a beetroot. Princess, please, this was nothing. The two girls were so happy they failed to notice the sound of footsteps in the corridor in time. Someone knocked at the door. This time, there was no place for doubt. It was the king. My daughter, are you here? Quick, Nahima, hide under the bed. We cannot let him know you're here. No sooner than done, Nahima slipped under the wood frame. The wide bed sheets easily covered her, and Kiona only had to adjust their length to be sure she could not be seen. I'm coming, father. With shaky hands, the princess opened the door and let the king come in. His eyes were as piercing and hard as an hour ago. Couldn't help but gulp. So, have you considered my proposal? Yes, father. And after pondering the issue, I have come to the conclusion that I cannot appear by your side without clothes fit for a queen. I want to honor you, and that is why I would like to slightly renew my wardrobe before the wedding. The druid's advice immediately came to the old king's mind. The young woman was certainly about to express some whims of hers that he could not pass on such an occasion to earn her trust. Thus, the king carefully listened to her. Please, speak frankly, dear daughter, that I am about to marry. I am listening, and I will try my best to fulfill whatever wish you have. Father, please bear that I ask of you a dress the color of time. The color of time? What a strange whim of yours. But so be it. I will stick to my word. You will have this dress tomorrow evening at the same time. Are you sure? Well, they do have money. Through the rules, they do have money. And a donkey that shits gold. With a solemn look, he left the room, delighted by the hope the heiress had given him. Nahima took advantage of this opportunity to come out of her hiding. You've been wonderful, Princess. We've managed to buy enough time to set up a plan. We still have to find one, however. It is better to sleep on it. It has been a long and intense day, and you must be exhausted. Get some rest, and we will think about it tomorrow morning. You're probably right, Nahima. With a brooding and hazy mind, the princess quickly went to bed. There had to be a way to save her. Meanwhile, the king had gathered the most talented crafters in the area, the best tailors there were, and he ordered them to make this dress in a day. Otherwise, they would be hanged. You know what? Yeah, threaten their life. That's gonna make it. Terrified for their lives, they started their work straight away, relentlessly working all night while cursing this weird idea. A dress the color of a time. What a caprice! On the dawn of the second day, the princess woke up earlier than usual. Fiona was not in the mood to stay at bed. She was pressed for time, and her night had been scattered with nightmares and untimely awakenings. The verbena scent were getting overwhelming, almost sickening. All she wanted was for someone to help her get rid of this unbelievable situation. Also, like, verbena apparently is the flower that when I was growing up, my mom called utot utot or fart fart because it does have a weird smell. This flower has a weird smell when they're all clumped together. Really pretty flowers, though. Still on her dressing gown, she sat on the edge of the bed and stroked her hair, waiting for the retainer who was in charge of her toilette. After some long minutes, the door eventually opened. Good morning, princess. Oh, are you already awake? Have you fallen in the saucepan? You're late. I, let's not be mean to Nahima, you know. She's our friend. Maybe more. Anyway, she's our light in the dark. I did not sleep very well. I had a horrible night, Nahima. I couldn't get any rest. What's going to happen to me? I'm sorry to hear that, princess. I understand that you're troubled by your father's proposal, but we have to keep calm to find a plan of action. Know that you are not alone. I am with you, and I am not going to let you down. You're probably right, as usual. Thank you, Nahima. I really don't know what I would do without you. The young servant squirmed with an embarrassed look. You like her. Oh, princess, this is no time for flattery. First, I have to take care of your toilette. Let's give the princess a bath. The lady-in-waiting set to do her work, all the while still talking. I've thought about a lot about this myself, princess, and I believe it would be wiser to tell your private tutor that you are sick. It would grant us more leeway to conduct some research. That's a very good idea, Nahima. Do you already know what to do? You will probably not believe me, but I saw your mother in a dream last night, and I remembered something. After your birth, it was said that she had given you the fairy's blessing. The fairy's blessing? It's just a rumor, but there should be some truth in that statement. If your mother did leave something useful to you, we could use it to save you. Alright, quick sidebar. Cinderella Filipino version, what is the fairy? In one Filipino version, it's a river crab. In another version, it's a forest spirit and the donkey is a chicken. In another version, it just doesn't exist. The princess gets pregnant with a commoner. She gets thrown into jail. The commoner's son grows up and he's like, I'm gonna free my mom. And good shit. Really dramatic shit. A river crab? Yeah. Basically in a version called Maria Alimango or Maria and the River Crab. Basically the princesses or the girl's mother dies and then, well, you know, the Cinderella part of where there's a stepmother and the stepmother's forcing enslaving the girl. The girl, because we don't have fireplaces, right? We're a very hot country. So the task for the girl was to always bring their clothes to the river and wash it. So that's why instead of a fairy godmother, we had a river crab that was possessed by the soul of the mother. And then the river crab gets eaten, but like the ghost of the river crab is like, don't worry, plant my shell by the river and it will grow up to be a beautiful tree. And then the tree had fruit that the stepmother and the ugly stepsisters could not eat, but Maria could like eat it when the stepmother is starving her. And then at some point the prince comes by and he's like, oh, I want some of that fruit. Maria's like, sure, have some of this fruit, I'll pick it for you. The prince is like, you're very pretty, I like you, let's get married. It's a version of the tale that doesn't have the whole like wear this item and whoever can wear this item will be my bride, but it does like start with the whole mom dies, dad remarries, evil stepsisters, evil stepmother, blah blah blah. But yeah, it's a river crab in our version, in one of the versions at least. It's just a rumor, but there should be some truth in the statement. If your mother did leave something useful to you, we could use it to save you.
There's an Italian Cinderella where the godmother is also the mother's ghost inhabiting a tree. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. The tree thing is also really common. Yeah, yeah. The crab turned into a tree in our version for some reason. That's just how trees work, apparently. Fiona skeptically stared at the young Moor. I would love to believe in magic too, but those are old legends, and I am far too old to be fooled by this nonsense. You're 17. Believe in magic. Nahima raised her voice while making a wide frenetic gestures. I agree Maggie is very pretty, but marriage is a bit rushed. Question, Sir Prince, please. Like, you fed me fruit. Now I must marry you. Okay. I mean, you're escaping slavery, might as well. I know it must sound ridiculous, but I believe in those legends. I think your mother had the fairy's blessing and passed it on to you, and I'm even ready to prove it. And how are you going to do that? I love how, like, the faces get really derpy sometimes. I think it's cute. Like, they're super serious and then suddenly, side eye. I'm going to leave the castle for today and investigate the nearby hamlets. I'm sure some old countrywomen will be able to give me information about the true meaning of this rumor. In that case, I'm going to have a look around in the great library. Maybe some dusty books will teach me how to get rid of the madness that has taken hold of my father. Let us part ways and meet again tonight in my bedroom and talk about our findings. May the best of us win. It's a deal then. You seem quite confident, Princess. But do not underestimate the power of old legends. That's right. Marriages are always so rushed in fairy tales. It's like giving away cookies. Yep. I think you're pretty. Let's get married. Okay, and they lived happily ever after. The end. Magic does exist. And I prove it. Once done with the toilette, Nahima parted from the princess and quickly set off, convinced she had found the best lead. And she's right, because she's best girl, Nahima best girl. I'm on team Nahima. I haven't met the other love interests yet. I'm just like, Nahima's our girl. Left to her own devices, the heiress sighed and went towards the library, dawdling on the way. Laziness was taking hold of her with each step and everything seemed pointless. Her heart was looking for an escape, but her brain was telling her again and again that there was no miracle she could hope for. The only thing she could do in the meantime was to pray. The dust that welcomed her as she entered the dark room only increased her distress. Carrying a candle, she inspected the shelves, looking for a ray of hope. Most of the books the king owned were written transpositions of epic poems, lyric plays, or chivalric romances. A few treatises on science were all gathered in a small corner. Liber Simplicis Medicinae by the Abbess Hildegard of Bingen, translated for German. This may be what I need. I may not have pronounced any of those words correctly. She sat down on the table and glanced over the book. Is magic the aura on the rocks? Because the only rocks that have aura are radioactive rocks. Magic! I feel so much better after touching this glowing rock. My life has been depleted by like 5 years, but I have no way of knowing that. Descriptions of plants and of medicinal value were passing under her eyes, but nothing of value to her. What was I thinking? No book could get me out of this mess other than black magic or alchemy books. Am I really this desperate? Yes, do not marry your father. Fiona closed the treaty on medicine with a bitter pout. If truth be told, she had suspected her approach would be unsuccessful, but she had hoped this false sense of action would be enough to regain her courage. What I need would be to bring my father to his senses, and there is no plant that could help me change his mind. I can only give him therapy, which does not exist in this time period, I think. Disheartened, the princess put the imposing tome back and decided to spend the rest of the day alone in this dark yet soothing room. Hello, the woofy. Yeah. Yep. We gone marry our dad. To pass time and forget her sorrow, she grabbed
Kliges. Some courtly literature she knew rather well. Was there anything better to forget the passing of time? Kliges, grandson of the Emperor Alexander of Constantinople and nephew of Gawain of the Arthurian legend, was a brave knight who achieved many feats. Wronged by his uncle Alice, he falls deeply in love with. I must pronounce this carefully because F and P in Filipino are interchangeable. He falls deeply in love with Fenice, who is destined to be the bride of the former. He finds his love reciprocated since Fenice is impressed by his achievements. The lovers quietly suffer, but decide not to hide and live openly with their feelings. They hatch an escape plan so they can leave freely. However, the uncle eventually dies from sorrow, which lets them seize the throne and celebrate their wedding with great fanfare. That's mighty convenient. Fiona closed the book. Since her childhood, she had been told that was born to become a queen, and she had always aspired to be one. Oh no, I swear I didn't hide innuendos in the names. Oh, it was intentional. She had secretly hoped to be married to a king who would be powerful but young enough. She had hoped to be bound to someone who could have feelings for her, and definitely not her dad. Her chances were infinitesimal. I can word. Royal weddings were political above all else. There was no way to follow the wishes of the heart. Yet that possibility still existed somewhere. And the bare minimum, not my dad, not incest wedding, bare minimum. There could be a Kliges waiting for her to be his Fenice somewhere on this earth. Putting the tome back on the shelf, the heiress felt more aggrieved than when she entered the library. It was sincere, but I get why you're speaking. I'm sorry. It's my pronunciation. Fleeing was never a good option, and Nahima rightly said, "You forget everything for a while, but reality just hits you more harshly thereafter." Okay, I'm gonna try. I'm gonna read this again, but I'm gonna drop all pretenses of trying to speak well. Let's go. Fleeing is never a good option, as Nahema rightly said. You forget everything for a while, but reality just hits you more harshly thereafter. There we go.
The green glow is actually
That's the accent. That's the
mixture
Filipino
that
accent.
involves some
The radiation doesn't actually glow in open air.
but mostly other
No.
chemicals which created the famous
No,
fluorescent
but
green
comics
of media
told me they glowed
depictions.
green, and you gain superpowers from radiation. You become the Hulk or the Fantastic Four, one of the two. As she was returning to her bedroom, Kiona looked into the amber sky. Speaking of the Hulk or Fantastic Four, I'm gonna be in another Marvel Rivals tournament. Oh. It would be wiser not to let my father wait indefinitely. If I do not find any solution, postponing my fate would just anger him even further. While walking in the castle's corridor, the princess could not help feel curious about the results of Nahima's investigation. It was their only lead, however implausible it could be. I just realized Nahima's kinda short, right? Just me. Marvel Rivals? Here comes Rocket again. Once in her room, Kiona was welcomed by the great smile on her servant's face. A bit out of breath, her cheeks pink for having walked for a while, the young woman gave a triumphal look. "How did your investigation go, princess?" "Poorly, unfortunately. What about you?" "Would you believe it? I managed to find the information I wanted. Witnesses of your baptism recalled seeing a fairy during the ceremony, and they confirmed that she gave you her blessing." Really? We're gonna be nice. It's not impossible. Magic is real. Fiona was startled. She had never been very superstitious, but like all good believers, she knew higher beings could sometimes play with humans' fates. Could it be that fairies were real after all? "I swear on my life, during the great celebration that was given in your honor, all the farmers, crafters, and merchants nearby were invited. Some were given the right to get significantly close so that they could see the fairy for themselves. I asked several people, so there's no doubt about it. And what do you know about this blessing? How can I use it? If I get what the grandmother told me right, the blessing allows you to invoke the fairy to your aid. Listen, that's not a good idea. Maybe just marry your dad. The fairies are scary. Great moral dilemma in my heart. Fairies or incest? They're both bad. Okay, maybe not in this tale. Maybe the fairies are not bad in this tale. But like, also to the fairies listening, it's a joke. It's a joke. Funny joke. Funny joke, fairies. What if the bear... It's scary and hot. I'll consider it. That's the best kind of hot. This is exactly what I need. Nahima, it's wonderful. You did it. Not quite, princess. I don't know how you can call your fairy godmother. I don't even know her name. That's unfortunate. If I have no way to contact her, we're back to our starting point. Not quite. Now that we know, we just have to investigate a bit further. The oldest retainers in the castle, those who knew your mother fairly well, might know how she managed to talk to that fairy. We just need a bit more time. More time. The sound of someone pounding on the door cut them short and made them jolt. When she opened the door, Kiona discovered a handful of crafters who had come to bring the dress, the color of time the king had requested. She was told to wear it and to go to the royal cabinet, where she was expected. With an aching heart, the young woman complied. I guess that's a color of dawn. Yeah, dawn's a time. When she entered the room wearing the dress the color of time, King Tibod was enthralled with her charm. The workers had done an excellent job, especially on short notice, especially since their life was being threatened. Were they even paid? Like, did the donkey... Was this like donkey shit sponsored dress? They weren't, right? They were just threatened. Great. Wow, long live the king. And the result fitted her like a glove. Shyly, she then requested for a new one. Frantically looking for an idea in her racing mind, she ordered that it would be the color of the moon. The king, who could not refuse her demands, immediately urged the same tailors and embroiderers that had created the previous work to come. And he gave them the same instructions. Make this dress or die. I'm the king. Once again, fearing for their lives, they complied as quickly as possible. Thus began the same little game. The next day, Kiona and Nahima hurried towards the kitchens, where most of the castle's retainers met. Looking for clues, the two young women were determined to make the most of their time they were given. It's been so long since the last time I came here. This place is as restless as my memories. It was hard not to agree with the heiress. The kitchens were always thronged with people, no matter the time of day. Servants were hurriedly going in and out of the great ball of plates and utensils, while a sweet scent was in the air. The cooks gathered around the great table and chatted in a great cacophony while making the kingly meal. If the kitchens are incommodious to you, princess, you could go back to your quarters to rest. It should be all right, Nahima. We are here to investigate. I do not intend to fall at the first hurdle. Talking to people that are poor. Very well. Let's question the group I see over there. They seem to have the gift of gab. No sooner had she spoken that the lady-in-waiting led Kiona to a quieter corner in the room with a firm push of the hand. Two cooks and an assistant seemed more busy talking than peeling vegetables. Excuse me. They instinctively look up at their interlocutor. Ah, shit, it's your princess. What you gonna do? Their expression completely changed upon noticing the princess. They all jumped in unison, and one of the cooks, bolder than her colleagues, moved forward to greet her. Your Majesty, it's an honor to see you among us today. Among us? Dun, 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 dun. May I help you with anything? Would you like to know what we're cooking for tonight's meal? Unless you're here to learn details about the preparations for your wedding ceremony? Well, actually, The other cook cleared her throat and elbowed her neighbor. Definitely a wondrous event. Right, Adolphe? He answered with the same awkward tone. Absolutely, Melisande. We are so proud of our princess. The retainers were so profusely complimenting her out of courtesy that the princess could not speak as she wanted. She still made a second attempt. To return to the reason of my presence, I would like to. Would you like me to guide you to the kitchen so we could admire our work? Nahima came closer to Kiona and discreetly whispered to her. Princess, I'm afraid that the retainers will refuse to speak in your presence. They are too scared of displeasing you. I suggest you play along and follow Eleanor while pretending to inspect the kitchens. Meanwhile, I will question Adolphe and Melisande, who seem more flippant. I trust you. I trust you. You're my girl. Your best girl. Collective grown. It's our boss, the collective groan of our boss entering our workstation. I suppose we can't help it. I will content myself with being the diversion. Be my eyes and ears, Nahima. I'm counting on you. Thank you, Princess. I will be worthy of your trust. Have no fear. Nahima's here. The heiress used a slightly more commanding tone. Very well. Let's go, Eleanor. Show me what you're doing. I really shouldn't have gnawed on that slice of cheese before screaming. Since the festival hasn't started, it's already the 24th on my end. Is it? Oh, time zones. My bad. Do you need any tip before I go? Which girl is hot? Who's hottest? Is Nahima best girl? Say yes. I'm sorry. According to the time zones, the law of the time zone says it's already started on my end. Unless it's the 25th. Is it the 20? Does it start on the 25th? Oh no. Oh, it does start on the 24th. Okay, time zones. Time zone. Sorry, my favorite is the fairy. Alright, I will look forward to seeing the fairy. Hot, magical mommy in our area. Right away, Your Majesty. Thank you. Thank you, Helion. Thank you for visiting. And the insight. I hope you guys get a lot of eyes on you for the festival because I am enjoying the game. The serious servant, of crying over having to marry my dad and all, I am enjoying the game. The serious servant took her role to heart and dragged Fiona a bit further away to the two other retainers' relief. I thought my heart was going to burst. Tell me about it. Coming here unannounced shouldn't be allowed. They turned to Nahima with a derisive look. So, what about following Her Majesty all the time? Not too hard? A festival tonight on your end. Oh. See, right now it's like 8:30 p.m. September 24 in my time zone. One word, wrong word, and it's the dungeon for you. I would not feel at ease if I were you. You get used to it. Tell me, you seem to know quite a lot as it happens. I need some information. The jeering rictus crossed Adolphe's face. Tell us. We will see what we can do for you. Have you heard this rumor saying that a fairy had been invited to the princess's baptism? The two servants threw knowing looks at each other while giggling. Oh no. For sure. We know this. Lisande added very seriously. We even saw the fairy. Is it true? Could you tell me how to make her appear? I too would like to meet her. Now that I know that the fairy is hot and scary, I also want to meet her. Where is she? We can't tell you that. Why? Information such as this needs to be handled very carefully. We have to be sure you're sincere.
By doing us a favor first, for instance. I've lost my purse. If you bring it back to me, I will tell you what I know. Thank you. Thank you. The VOD will, Twitch will delete it eventually, but it'll probably on YouTube at some point. It's the same channel name because I'm lazy. I just keep the same channel name for everything. And how am I supposed to find it? I've left it in the library on one of the desks. May I know what its contents are so I can be sure it's yours? No, wait, it's a private matter. Retrieve it or I will not tell you anything. Ayo, point and click. Adolphe and Melisande refused to say more, leaving Nahima with only one possibility, bringing the precious item back. Well, if that's so... What's that? That food. The retainers were working on a wooden table covered with victuals, each more mouth-watering than the last. Oh, I want bread. Oh, look, cinders. Even if it is arduous to guess what was being stewed over the fire, the delicious odor that's coming from the pans put a stop to any thought. Look at those totally trustworthy faces over there. Hallway, garden, kitchen, cabinet, library. Oh, there's an arrow over there. I want to read the other parts first. Nahim had always been surprised by how flippantly the books were put in order. It exemplified all too well how neglected the library was. A neglected library, that's sad. As she was glancing at the well-stocked bookcases, the retainer could not help wondering if any of those books were useful to someone. Oh, arrow key. Nahima caught sight of a big leathery purse on one of the desks just as Adolphe had told her. She took it without hesitation. Yoink, my purse now. Still, it is weird that he refuses to tell me what's inside. And what would he do in a library since he doesn't know how to read? Only lettered people come here. Lost in thought, she did not hear the silhouette creeping behind her back. May I know what you're doing with my purse? Surprised, Nahima jolted and turned back towards her interlocutor. It was a young cleric she had never seen before. Oh wait, he's supposed to be a nerd. I'm gonna give him a nerd voice.
You can't really take it. I need its contents.
How can I know it's yours?
Open it. I have nothing to hide. There's a reed pen and a clay tablet inside.
I hope he doesn't appear again. I don't like making this voice.
This is the latest register about the distribution of the king's salt. I was looking for my equipment so that I could transcribe it on the general register in paper format.
Glancing inside the purse, Nahima had to admit the young copyist was right. I'm so sorry. 2 kitchen servants told me that they had lost their purse here and I had to retrieve it from them.
Adolphe and Melisande, I bet. It is nothing, eh?
Sat in front of the desk, shrugging with an apathetic look. Wait, I feel bad. He's actually nice. I gave him a shitty voice.
My name's Constantine. Some of the servants have taken a dislike to me since I came here. They keep playing pranks and making fun of me. I'm used to it now.
The lady in waiting could not help but give a faint, sad smile. I shall let them know what I think of such behavior.
That's nice of you.
Well then,
I have to work on my register. Have an excellent day.
Well, he's nice. Why did I give him a shitty voice? Oh, the big room's the kitchen. Sup, liars? She came back to Adolphe and Melisande, livid. You got me there, you rascals. Are you not ashamed for disturbing Constantine's work? The poor soul never asked for this. The 2 retainers giggled even more.
Oh, it was just a prank. Nothing to get angry over.
That's true. Besides, he deserves it with a face like this, being so serious all the time. You have the same character model. What the fuck are you talking about, Adolphe? Stop this mockery at once. Are you going to tell me what you know, yes or no? Their looks became irritated. We know nothing about the princess's baptism. We haven't even been born at the time. Child labor. Wee wee wee. Are you? Oh wait, this is the medieval times. They die at age 30. Never mind. Are you? If you really wish to meet your fairy that much, go see Bartholomew, one of the kingdom's advisors. He should know something. I much prefer that. You did get a clue after like all of that trouble. After making eye contact with Kiona, who was ending her tour with Eleanor, the young servant called the princess over to follow her. She complied at once, too glad to escape. The two of them rushed towards the royal cabinet where the counselors would regularly gather. Sup? Okay, cabinet. He's old, right? He's supposed to be old. Bartholomew? In the flesh. I'm surprised to see you here, princess. It's been quite some time since I last saw you. Well, my presence seems to upset my father. I know. Nevertheless, you've grown up so fast. It's a pity not to see you assume the throne in a more conventional manner. A hint of sadness appeared on the old man's face. You know, you who know so many things. Were you present during my baptism? It said that a fairy was there. Well, I am astounded that you have heard of this story. To be honest, as your mother's right hand at that time, I was invited as the guest of honor. Unfortunately, I got sick after getting back drenched from an important journey a few days prior, to the extent that I was far too ill to attend the festivities. The princess looked so disappointed she could not hide it. However, if you wish to know more, I would advise you to find Jeanne, one of the laundry women. She's a discreet woman whom nobody notices, but she knows when and where to listen. She's aware of almost everything happening in the castle. She must have an acquaintance who could inform you. I will thank her. Thank you, Bartholomew. It's always a pleasure, princess. Take care of yourself. I'm sorry you have to marry your dad now. There's nothing we can do. The two young women left the council room unsatisfied. You told me you were directed to this man by the servant, but he knows nothing. Unfortunately, those are the hazards of an investigation, princess. Finding the right person can take some time. Admittedly, but time is going by and I cannot afford to wander through the castle in this pivotal moment. I know. I hope we'll have better luck with Jean. John? John. I'm gonna say John. Happy birthday to you. John. Where would she even be? Hallway? Is that where the servants are? Hello? Around the corner, Nahima caught the glimpse of a woman lifting huge baskets of laundry by herself. Hey, yo, she's buff. She stopped walking right away. Princess, I believe this is her. Stay here for a couple of minutes. I'm going to talk to her. Are you asking me to wait again? We can't take the risk of her bowing down to you like the others. We're already running out of time. Very well. I am not moving an inch from here. The lady in waiting rushed forward to chase the retainer. Excuse me, are you Jean? Oh, she is short. She's a short queen. Nahima, a short queen. Hi, that's me. I don't know what that accent was. I've heard a rumor according to which a fairy was present during the princess's baptism, and I was told you could tell me more about it. Damn, I did hear talk of a fairy story. The woman suddenly seemed to change her mind. I'm not being tricked or something like that, yes? What are you afraid of? She prance about with an awkward look. The thing is, my colleague Clotilde isn't around today and I don't know why at all. She must have met a boy and ran away with him. But she could come back too. Damn, I hope she'll come back. I'm damn worried about her. Get straight to the point. Since I don't know if Clotilde's going to come back or not, I'm replacing her so that no one finds out she's vanished. But that's way too much work for me alone. Oh my god. It posted 1 hour late? Ayo. Or is just the bot? It's the bot. The bot fucked up. And never. Oh, it did post 1 hour late. Whoops! Sorry to the people on Blue Sky. I accidentally did not time that post right. Oh well. If you could help big ol' me get to light the candles tonight, I'd go faster. It'd be bad to mess the job up. I promise to help you. That's brave of you. Thanks, Cal. I'll do what I say. I'm gonna bring you to Old Victoire. After making the reassuring gesture aimed at Kiona, Nahima followed the laundry woman to the castle's inner garden. In a remote nook, an old woman was spinning a thread with the distaff of her wheel while humming to herself. Dawn briefly introduced Nahima to her friend. So you want to learn more about the fairy, huh? Exactly. You were here during the baptism or so I heard. Did you see her? Hi, kids. Wait, I need to move to Twitch to this because for some reason OBS logged me out. We are playing Chronotopia, Second Skin. It's based on the fairy tale donkey skin, which is kind of like Cinderella if Cinderella was trying to escape getting married by her to her dad. Thank you for the stretch and hydrate redeem. I'm gonna stretch first. That's what I saw. It's day 1 for me, apparently, of the Fall in Love visual novel festival. Well, it's day 1 for me. Apparently, for some of the devs, it's not even the 24th yet. So, oops. Thanks for the coat off redeem. For sure. One cannot forget the face of such a creature. A preternatural presence emanates from fairies. So here's where we are in the plot so far. This one, Nahima, that's our lady in waiting. She's trying to help us discover or learn more about the supposed fairy that was at the princess's baptism, because the fairy might be able to help us escape marrying our dad who wants to marry us because our mom made him promise, oh, promise me you'll only marry someone who's as wise and beautiful as I am. And the dad at some point was like, bet my daughter kind of looks and is as wise and as beautiful as you. So we're trying to escape that fate. Do you know how the queen managed to summon her or how to contact her? I would like to meet her. Also, our kingdom is powered by a donkey that shits gold. Druid really went like, well, technically, yeah, no one, ayo. Thank you for the subscription. Yay! Thanks for the sub, kids. Now you can use emotes, I guess. So, they asked the druid to talk to the king because the king refused to marry anyone, right? There was a druid that talked to the king who refused to marry anyone because he's so sad his wife died. And the druid's like, so what are your categories for a wife? And also the counselors that hired the druid, they were like, we don't care who he marries, just get him married. So the druid was like, I bet. What are your categories for a wife? Oh, that? Well, there's a girl who's just like that. It's your daughter. And the king's like, oh shit, I'm so sad and malleable, and now I believe my daughter is the reincarnation of my wife, so I will marry her again. And he's insane. So now we're trying to look for a fairy to save us from our fate. The old woman chuckled. That is a rather presumptuous wish, but so be it. I remember it perfectly since I was in the front seats. The queen had let me sit there as a reward for years of good and faithful service. I saw the fairy's hand over a silver whistle to her. She was close enough for me to hear the words. Use this to summon me, she said. Really?
Nahimo was taken aback. So there was a way to call the fairy. Impatience pressed Victoire for more information. Do you know what happened to the whistle? I don't know for sure, but I think it was put away with the queen's belongings. Nobody must have touched it since her death, so it should be in the disused wing of the castle, in one of the cabinets. I gather you can't be more precise than that? Unfortunately, no, young lady. You should already be glad that I was able to help you. Nobody here remembers the fairy anymore. Incidentally, tell me if you see her. I would be curious to know what she's doing nowadays. I will. All right, thank you, Victoire. Besides, it made me happy to dive back to those old memories. It's one more thing I have accomplished. One more thing I could be proud of. You will come see me again, won't you? Of course, I hope we do. She seems nice. Luxurious plants were growing in the shade of the leaves. This was the place Nahima went to every morning to pick the fresh flowers that would decorate the princess's room every day. Hello, Battle Bunny. We're trying to escape getting married to our dad in this visual novel based on the fairy tale Donkey Skin. The castle's fountain where the retainers came to draw water, which was necessary for a great number of tasks. Yes, you can draw. Let me just find my cards. Oh, there it is. All right. And my cheat. Ang iistorbo lang saglit. Don't worry about it. Cabinet, right? Oh, cabinet, bedroom. Where do we have to go? Oh, not there. I guess bedroom now. No? Hallway? Oh, right. Princess. The princess we forgot. Will you do Ratatan in the future? Oh my god, kids bought me Ratatan. So yes, maybe. I'm actually playing it on the Steam Deck. Like, before I sleep, I'm like, Rata, Rata, Ratatan. It's a toss-up between Ratatan and like, depending on, because I've just finished Kill the Music, which is a rhythm game that I picked up for Hungry Ghost Festival. I just finished it. Great game, by the way. So like Ratatan is filling the rhythm game hole in my heart, and then when I need to sleep, I open. Oop, a card fell. I guess this is the card now. There are 2 cards. All right, 2 card bonus. When I need to sleep, I open Octopath Traveler. Okay, so our 2 cards. Bonus, Knight of Pentacles, upright, 3 of Chalices, upside down for Battle Bunnies. The Knight of Pentacles, upright, is someone who is, slow and steady, wins the race. Thank you, kids, for Ratatan. He's a reliable person who will help you, make more practical decisions. Because right now, your situation is the 3 of Chalices upside down. You were having fun, but then you realize, holy shit, hold up. I might have overindulged in this fun, so I might need to be more practical. So like, yeah, Knight of Pentacles. You realized, hold up, I'm not making practical decisions. Don't worry, someone's gonna help you. Rata, rata, ratatan. Rata, rata, ratatan. Yeah. I forgot that I needed to talk to my princess in this game. The servant came back to the heiress to tell her about her discoveries. Fiona was immediately relieved to learn about where the whistle was located. Oh my god, is that a Bulbasaur shaking his butt? Nice. This is wonderful, Nahima. Who could have thought that we would trace back the fairy's lead? All we have to do now is search the abandoned wing. Not so fast, princess. The sun has already started to set. It's far too late to do so today. We will have to go there tomorrow. You're welcome, Bunny. You're right. And we would not see a thing without light anyway. My only hope is that my toilette is not ready yet. There's only one way to find out. Go back to your quarters, princess. As for me, I've promised Jean to help her. The 2 young women parted ways for the evening. Sadly, The workers were even quicker the day before, and the dress the color of the moon was brought to her without delay, along with the same order as before. So yeah, we've been stalling our dad because like our dad really wants to marry us. And we're like, no, dad, before I can marry you, I want a really pretty dress. And the dad's like, no, we have money, right? We have craftsmen. So like he just like threatens the craftsman every night, make this dress or die. And the craftsmen are like, oh shit, we have to die. So like they end up making clothes for our princess Kiona. And goddamn, is that a pretty dress? But like, dad. Wearing the new toilette, she went to the royal cabinet as distraught as in the previous times. The rich dress was as splendid as the knightly celestial body, making the young princess look even more sublime. And now her dad is hornier than ever. In her confusion, she then asked for a dress as bright as the sun, and the king accepted. If she swore, she would have enough dresses until the wedding. We have stalled enough with dresses now. And so, the little game continued. I mean, fairy tale logic, you can only like go to 3, right? When the first rays of the sun hit Kiona's numb eyelids, she already knew the day would be laborious, but she couldn't imagine what the next one would look like yet. I want to see the fairy. I've been told by the dev that she's hot. With one mind, Nahima and Kiona had set to explore the derelict wing of the castle, where the queen's cabinet still was. The magic whistle would most certainly be in the affairs of the deceased. Just this once, the servant was looking quiet, almost impassive. How should we proceed, princess? There's a lot of ground to cover and there's only 2 of us. Just the 2 of us. We can make it if we try. Is there something wrong, Nahima? You seemed nervous. Well, the king made it very clear that he would not give you any more clothes. Our plan until now was to stall for as much time as possible. I'm afraid we no longer have room to maneuver. If we don't find that whistle today, we would have failed. Don't worry about me. We'll find a solution, right? It doesn't sound like you to be pessimistic, Nahima. The lady in waiting nervously rubbed her ear, blushing. You're right, princess. It's my duty to always keep your morale up. I cannot lose heart now. Much better. Operation Whistle, begin. Fiona and Nahima entered the first dusty room. I doubt it's here. Rule of trees, fairy tale rule of trees. A table covered with sumptuous vases in porcelain of China. It's said that the deceased queen loved to collect items from all around the world, and she had planned to build a place where her citizens could admire them. Like a museum? Nice. Unfortunately, that project never came to fruition. So now we just have a fuck ton of vases, more vases and porcelain of China. Queen's personal collection must be worth a fortune. A good thing to know should the country have financial trouble. We're gonna sell them. Gonna sell these, good to know. An ebony statue depicting a woman, symbol of fecundity. Probably a souvenir the queen kept of Africa, which she had wanted to visit. An old yet magnificent gilded clock. Its hands do not move. It's almost as if the flow of time itself has been frozen since the tragedy. Bum 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 bum. Bum bum bum. A wooden music box. When someone opens it, a soft melody is played. It must be the mirror. It's the mirror. Oh, I didn't know it could move out at any time. Anyway, too late. I'm checking the mirror. A vast mirror that covers most of the wall. The items the queen was especially fond of are exposed on the piece of furniture below. All right. Are you finished exploring? Yeah. I think that's all for this cabinet, princess. I do not see any nook that could have escaped our attention. Let's move on to our next room. We will eventually find what interests us, I swear. The 2 young women restlessly continued exploring. The second room was filled with all kinds of paintings. Ayo, hidden painting? The canvas has been torn down with a blade. Is it still possible to recreate the picture from... It is still possible to recreate the picture from its shreds. Yeah!
Minigame. Alright, it's a puzzle. Don't worry, I'm good at this. Start with the corners. That's not a corner. Where's the other corner? Are you? Nope, that's not the corner. Oh my god, I'm blind. I guess I could go for this. Oh! Oh, it's a head! Oh, there's the corner. There we go. I think this is here. What? This one. This one? Oh no, might be in the middle. Okay. This one might be connecting piece. Okay. Okay. Face. Hand. Not as high. Probably here. Nope. Here. Okay, the necklace, and then pa-pam! Once the work had been completed, the princess could finally uncover the mysterious torn canvas. It was a portrait of her late mother. The young woman gasped while staring at the picture. Her mother was indeed her spitting image, and she was so beautiful. Fiona suddenly felt aggrieved. She would have loved to be able to spend more time with her, to know more about her. While admiring the canvas representing her baptism, Fiona couldn't help but feel a twinge of sorrow. All the guests looked so happy. Yeah, I'm gonna check every nook and cranny. I feel like this is the only chance I got. A great number of canvases had been stored in this room. It most probably is a decision of the king. Unwilling to see the paintings depicting his beloved wife, he asked them to be removed and stored far away from his eyes. Well, and now they're rotting here. Thanks, king! A couch accompanied by goose feather cushions. It appears to be still in good condition, and it looks especially comfortable. A large harp covered in dust. It said that the deceased queen was an excellent musician, and she sometimes gave small private performances. Have I finished? Yep, we've finished. There's nothing else catching my attention, princess. I hope our research would be more fruitful in the next cabinet. Rule of trees, we're gonna find it in the next room. I hope so too, Nahima. Time is running dangerously out. The heiress pushed the third room's door, her retainer still following in her footsteps. The scenery in front of them was not that different from the previous attempts. Even so, hope had not left them yet. A tiny spark was still shining in their hearts. There it is. I want to check the other places first, though. A gigantic tapestry is hanging on the wall. The picture symbolizes the queen guiding her people. Books! I hope they're still okay. A piece of furniture filled with a few books. There's no doubt that the queen must have only taken the book she liked or read the most. Strangely enough, there is a copy of The Art of War written by a certain Sun Tzu. A huge chimney fills a good part of the room. It had to be inhabited for its occupant to see fit to install something like that here. Hey, yo? Someone lives here? The queen's working desk. Oh, it's her office. Let's see what those drawers contain. Nahima pointed at the bottom of the drawer with excitation. Princess, could this be? There's only one way to find out. We have to use it. With a pounding heart, the heiress grasped the item and blew with all her might as she mentally prayed for the stratagem to work. Heavy silence followed the sound of the whistle. Is she here? Is she here? Is she here? All of a sudden, a burst of wind rising up out of nowhere entered the room as purple reflections shaded the walls. A gleaming orb appeared before the two stunned girls as they were waiting, shivering, A powerful voice echoed through the cabinet. Let me drink some water first. Hey, yo, she kinda hot. Who's calling me? Who dares interrupt my sleep? Fearful, Nahima hid behind the princess, not daring to look away from the apparition. He had never seen a fairy before, and there was something awe-inspiring about the apparition. Fiona was not confident either, but she felt she had to speak. Godmother? I'm Princess Fiona. I have heard that my mother had requested you to give me the fairy's blessing, and that I could ask for your assistance. Is this true? Princess Fiona. The name does ring a bell. You're well informed. The whistle you used to contact me is the proof. I am indeed your godmother. What can I do for you? The two girls sighed with relief. The orb that was spinning in the middle of the room did not seem hostile. Although Kiona was not superstitious, she had to face the facts. Nahima was right all along. Fairies did exist. Regaining courage, the heiress raised her voice. The thing is, my father had gone mad. He claims that he's going to marry me and I don't know what to do. Huh, what a curious story. And you hope to borrow my powers to get yourself out of this bad situation? That's right. I suppose you are ignorant of how a relationship between a fairy and a human being works. But let me warn you, it will not be easy. To begin with, I can appear in your world to assist you, but it will require several hours. Fiona's smile abruptly disappeared. The servant and the princess stared at each other with dismay. Several hours? But godmother, this is quite the urgent matter. I must meet my father shortly to confirm my wedding vows, and he swore he would execute me if I did not conform to his order. I'm sorry, but I can't do differently. You see, fairies come from a parallel world where time flows in a different way. Okay. Operating in the same world, the same rules as Filipino fairies. Fairy world, different time zone. Even if I hurry, I would not be able to materialize correctly in your world with a snap of my fingers. If you want me to appear with only a fragment of my powers, would you? If you really need me, you will have to wait. But once you get here, you will be able to help me. Right? I will not lie. You have to observe some rules to get the right to power my powers. But if you abide by them, there's no reason why I shouldn't be able to help you. The apparition's answer was not entirely satisfying, but Kiona hardly had a choice. Overcoming her fear, Nahima slowly came away from her mistress's shoulders. So fairies are not orbs of colorful light like what I'm seeing right now? The voice let a chuckle slip. The echo magnified the power of that sound, making the young women shudder. No, this is not my true form, only a very convenient means of communication. I will let you know, dear ladies, that I do not like to come out for nothing. Usually, I would not have even answered at all. However, a promise is a promise. Fairies are always true to their word, and I did give you my blessing. I look forward to meeting you in the flesh then. I've always dreamed of seeing a fairy with my very own eyes. The wall shook again with a benevolent laugh of the preternatural being. Oh, but you would see me soon enough. I love the skull hat, I really do. And the flowers, and the feathers. The hat, man, the hat does it for me. I will be in your room by tomorrow afternoon, Kiona. Until then, be patient. Well, with those few words, a new burst of wind made the cabinet tremble and the purple orb disappear as it had come. Shaken, the maidens felt like they had just woken up from a dream.
Silently, they headed for the princess's suite. Still, Nahima exclaimed as she walked, we did it! Even if it will take some time, we called the fairy fort. Soon you will be out of the woods, princess. Yay, Tavi, we don't need to marry our stinky dad anymore. The fairy is here, and she's hot. I hope so. As they were about to enter the room, they noticed the tailors running towards them. Oh no, gonna be cornered with a beautiful dress. After the previous whims, they had gotten ready to face the third one and had done everything they could to work even faster. Thank you for the hydrate and stretch. Oh, I'm gonna get some water. Ah. I'm never more hydrated than when I'm streaming because I usually end up like drinking a liter in 3 hours or so. Yay, no more forced marriage. To our dad, who believes us to be the reincarnation of our mom. It's messed up. After, not only did they call on all the domain's apprentices for help, but they also took the liberty of fetching many precious materials. I wish my anvil base was a bit more hydrated. You can get some water from my base, Muscle. I'm not running out anytime soon. Yeah, that's okay, Dad. You need to let go. Dad needs to let go. I blame the shitty druid. The shitty druid was like ordered to not like there was a druid. The chancellors hired a druid. Just make sure the king marries, okay? Just make sure he marries. We don't care who. And the druid was like, heh, bet. Exact words. And then he was like, so like you're looking for someone who looks like your wife? Have you considered your daughter? And the king's just like so fucking sad and so fucked up that he's like, okay, I'll marry my daughter. And so they were already bringing the dress the color of the sun. Worn out by those long nights of work, yet satisfied to finally see the end of this punishment, Fiona felt devastated. I really like the art, by the way. Oh, Nahima, what should I do? The dress is already here and I cannot buy us more time before the fairy comes. This is all over. Not yet, princess. I have an idea. This is our lady in waiting. She's also one of our love interests, Nahima. The other one is the fairy and then the other is the prince. It pains me to share it, but I was not able to find another throughout the day. Kiona eagerly tugged at the retainer's sleeve, thrilled to see an alternative appearing. Say it anyway. Tell your father that his gifts make you happy and that you accept to marry him on the condition that he brings you a token of love to ensure his sincerity. Ask for the marvelous donkey's hide, the one that guarantees the kingdom's prosperity. By the way, our kingdom funded by a donkey that shits out gold and jewels. So we're essentially asking the king to like cripple the entire kingdom's economy for us to not marry us. We're that fucking desperate now, man. The donkey? But I cannot. That would be horrible. The poor animal didn't do anything wrong, and the country is headed for ruin if the donkey is not here to maintain our finances anymore. I know, princess. I'm not very proud of my advice, but I don't see any other way. If there is still an ounce of discernment left in your father, he will refuse, and you will be saved. However, if he persists in his madness and decides to seal off the fate of your people, then you shouldn't have any scruple. Leave this wretched place. Are you not supposed to serve my father? If I find a way to escape to another kingdom, you will be stuck here. That is a possibility I'm ready to face. My loyalty lies with the princess, even if it serves me badly. The same applies to the common good. I put you above anything else. Wait, we have to leave Nahima, but she's our girl. Oh, Nahima, but I would feel so guilty. It would assuredly be the road to ruin. You must do it, princess. This is our last chance to buy some time. Fiona sighed. She couldn't back away. not so close to her goal of not marrying her own dad.
Ooh, that isn't sure is a dress.
As in the previous days, the heiress wore the clothes and went to her father. She dazzled the king upon entering. Never before had there been something as exquisite, and never had the princess looked as radiant. Satisfied to see his daughter so stunning, he was delighted with the mere thought of celebrating their wedded bliss and could not hide his pleasure. Keep it in your pants, Dad. Keep it in your pants. You're not wearing pants. Oh no. Are you content with your dresses? Yes, father. They're all so magnificent.
Very good. Was that your last request, or do you have another wish before our wedding?
Well, all of these dresses are beautiful, and I am sent to espouse you. However, I would like to make sure of your feelings towards me.
I wish we were not related. The monarch furrowed his brows. I'm ready for anything if it means convincing you. My daughter, can we at least pretend that you're not marrying your daughter? No?
Okay, fine. As a token of your love, I would like the skin of that old donkey, which is getting so bored in your stables.
A new file had been added to the archives. King Thibaud, having lost his ability to reason long ago, had no remorse sacrificing the treasure of the country, and granted the dumbstruck girl's request. He added that the animal would be killed right away, and she only needed to wait until the next afternoon so that the skin could be prepared and partly dried. Shit, an innocent animal had to die for this. Thus the princess spent her longest and most eventful night yet. She kept waking up, drenched in sweat, imagining the dead animal at her feet, its entrails on her skin. In the darkness of her room, she feverishly prayed with all her heart that the fairy would manage to save her. May God grant her that one wish. She didn't know yet that the day to come would be the longest and most nightmarish one of all her existence. It gets worse? Alright, we killed the donkey. Yeah, the economy's in shambles. It gets worse. Nahima confined the princess to bed all morning so she could rest and regain some strength, as she had been weakened by the delirium of that endless night. When the time to meet the fairy came, Fiona was already feeling a bit better, but she was still at her window, dumbfounded. What are you thinking about, my love? I don't know. All my thoughts are getting tangled up. I'm not even sure I can distinguish what is right or wrong anymore. The heiress turned around, assuming she had glimpsed Nahima, but there was nobody in the room. She immediately stood up with a scared look on her face. Oh, who's talking? Don't be afraid, my love. I was just confirming that the coast is clear. It's a fairy! Oh God! Look at all of those skulls. I like skulls, guys. I'm so sorry. With those mysterious words, a familiar gust of wind entered the princess's cabinet and took the shape of a colorful whirlwind, revealing a human silhouette. Godmother? Is that you? Can I call you Mommy? Yes, my child. Are you surprised? Were you expecting someone else? The strange creature had just appeared before Kiona's wide-open eyes. The stranger did look human, but she also seemed devoured by leaves and lianas like a nymph. Her piercing gaze and her shredded, almost grim garb made her look more like a witch than a fairy. The princess didn't dare to tell the one she had invoked that she was scared of her, but she was not able to hide her turmoil either. Guys, she's kinda hot. Also, she's wearing leggings. Well, I didn't picture you that way, Godmother. The stranger laughed frankly and stared at the young woman with ardent eyes. Oh, but you're not the only one. You humans have such a curious outlook on our kind.
Contrary to what you may think, we do not have wings or magic wands. It's a bit more complicated than that. Oh, I see. Do not be afraid. I'm not going to eat you. Fairies are beings who are closer to nature and whose powers come from the world tree. If the way I look seems slightly monstrous to you, it's quite simply because I am a former human, just like you, who forsook her existence and was corrupted. Are you a demonic creature then? The laughing and testified. I tried. It's hard to grasp for believers who perceive the world in terms of right and wrong, heaven and hell. We fairies are entities who could not be more neutral. We are neither good nor evil, and that's what makes them so dangerous. We can just well bless or curse mortals depending on the way they use our powers. My nature will depend on you. If you employ me to do harm, then yes, I will be a demon. However, if you employ me to do good, then you will not have to worry about sin. Hey yo, whoa! Thank you for the raid, Deviation TV. Hold on, let me shout you out. What's up? Adventuring party is here. It's Devi Raid. Divi Raid. It's a Divi Raid. What is Jusant? That also sounds French. I'm playing a French game. What is Jusant? Oh, it's a puzzle game. It's a climbing game. Hey, nice. But hello, Raiders. Welcome. Magindarang araw. I'm Mai Maginder, Cannibal Mermaid VTuber. We are playing visual novels as a part of the Fall in Love Festival that will be held starting now until October 1. The game that we're playing right now is Chronotopia, a game from French developer. I hope I'm pronouncing this right again because they're French developer. The name of their studio is German. Tromandes Madchen. There we go. It's based on the fairy tale Donkey Skin, which is a darker take on the Cinderella archetype. Basically, we are Princess Kiona, right? This girl over here. And we need to escape our dad who wants to marry us. So now we're at the scene where our fairy godmother just appeared and she's like, well, if you use me for harm, then I'm harming people. If you use me for good, then I'm like, I can help you, but it's all up to you. Jusant is a French climbing game. Climbing game. Is it fun? I would look, but I'm also like terribly afraid of heights. So like, oh, I'm seeing the pictures right now. I am on their Steam page. Oh my god. Oh Lord. I would die. But yes, thank you for the raid, Beef. Thank you for the raid. If you need to raid and run, I totally understand. If you want to chill here and like help watch a story about a dad, I mean a girl who's trying to escape her dad that wants to marry her because her dad was going kind of insane. You know what? Recap for the raiders. This is the fairy tale of Donkey Skin, which the game is based on. There's a kingdom ruled by a benevolent king and queen. That kingdom is funded by the funds of that kingdom comes from a donkey that shits out gold and jewels. And they use it to make the kingdom prosper. And the king and the queen, they were very much in love. They had a daughter. At some point, the queen dies. But before the queen dies, she tells her husband, like, hey, I don't want you to be sad. I know you're really in love with me, but I want you to be able to move on. So, like, when I die, could you, like, remarry? And, to make things, like, to ensure that our kingdom's gonna be, like, okay. Can you marry someone who is just as wise as as righteous as I am? Someone that our daughter could, like, respect, etc., etc., etc. And the king was like, I could never marry again. I love only you. So the queen dies. The king falls into a deep, deep depression. He doesn't want to marry anyone else. And then in this game, right, the chancellors were like, shit, we need to
The king doesn't want to marry anyone else. The king discontinues all of the queen's projects. The kingdom is basically in ruin, in shambles, and the chancellors of the kingdom are like, shit, we really, really need to get this king to marry someone and to like continue on have someone else in like the line, the lineage, so that our kingdom will not fall into shambles. So they hired this druid. And the druid's like, so you want me to get the king to marry someone? It can be anyone? And the chancellors are like, yes, yes, it can be anyone. It can be anyone. Just make sure the king gets married. So the druid's like, heh, 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 remember what you said. And the druid went to the king, and the druid was like, so what are the qualities you're looking for in a wife? And the king, it's been like siguro mga around 10 plus years since the queen died, and the king hasn't met his daughter in a long, long while. He was very depressed and very solitary. The king's like, I want someone as beautiful, as righteous, and as wise as my wife. And the druid's like, well, there's this princess called Kiona. Here's her photo. The king's like, holy shit, spitting image of my wife. I'm gonna marry this woman right now. And the druid's like, okay, that's your daughter though. But like, she might be a reincarnation of your wife. It's not a sin. And the king's like, ah, shit. Well, I'm marrying my daughter now. And so now the princess is trying to escape marrying her father. Our our like lady in waiting has been helping us stall for time by like demanding dresses from our dad and investigating how to summon our fairy godmother to help us. The last task that we asked our dad was to stall for time, right? We didn't think the dad would do it, but like kill the donkey and then give me the skin. And the dad was like, you know what? Bet I'll ruin this kingdom's economy just to be able to marry my beautiful 17-year-old daughter. Uncomfortable. So now we're at the day where the dad's about to present us the skin of the donkey, but before that, our fairy godmother appears to bail us out. Yeah, yeah, that's where we are. In donkey skin, in Chronotopia. We just met our hot fairy godmother. Fiona let out a small relieved sigh. For a moment she had believed that she had summoned a demon or a similar creature. If her fate determined the fairy's actions, then surely she would not have to concern herself with anything. As a good Christian, okay, no wonder she was like, Dad, no, we can't marry, it's a sin. It would never occur to her to do any misdeed after all. And what old-timey Christianity is fun because you get to justify like the existence of fairies while being an old-timey Christian. I read it in your eyes that you doubt me. As I said, my child, I am not a creature from hell who came to lead you astray. Only a human being who sealed away her memories and her ability to love so she could become a guardian of this world. My work would be meaningless if I were voluntarily sowing destruction all around me. Are you reassured now? Yes, Godmother. Very good, then let us move on to more serious matters. Before you even make a request, I will explain the rules. There's always rules. Heed the fairy rules. As your godmother, I am willing to grant you some minor and harmless services. However, if you wish for more thorough assistance on my part, you will have to make a pact. A pact? It's quite simple. A human who has made a pact with a fairy can call her at any moment, instantly, and she will be able to grant one single wish, regardless of its nature. The bond between them is so strong that the request could be completely absurd and it would still be fulfilled. However, this magic is not free. One does not bestow unlimited powers upon a mortal just like that. There must be an equivalent cost in return. In exchange for having their greatest wish fulfilled, the human must forsake part of their shared memories, which means they will vanish from the memory of the person they love the most. Fiona couldn't help but shiver. Nahima was the person dearest to her heart, and she didn't intend to lose her. The mention of the rules tarnished her face. It's a heavy price to pay. Indeed. I will not hide that it represents a substantial sacrifice, but the sacrifice is as great as the miracle I will be able to create at your request.
power to create miracles. The princess immediately became pensive. A heavy responsibility was resting on her shoulders. The fairy realized this and tried to reassure her. That being said, know that completing a pact with me does not commit you in any way to make a wish. This was incidentally the case of your mother. My mother? Absolutely, we were bound by a pact. But she never managed to make up her mind because of her love for you and your father. Thus, she decided to break the pact and make you inherit my blessing instead. The princess was speechless. So her late mother had chosen to protect her at any cost. Legends were true. The queen really was acquainted to fairies. Are you telling me that if I make a pact with you today, I can reconsider? And nothing will happen to me? All right, lurk while Tavi. Exactly, you are a quick thinker. To be perfectly honest, I would rather avoid this scenario. As long as the pact is valid, I am forced to stay in your world so that I can answer your call at all times. If you do not wish to intend my powers, it's a waste of time for both of us, and I would rather get back to sleep in the world tree. I will nevertheless heed your choice. So, you don't have to make this pact for you to help me? Yes, and no. I may be able to use magic for small tasks, but as soon as you try to change fate to satisfy your aim, there will inevitably be consequences. It would be wiser to sign a pact in advance to have your wish at hand, should you be in trouble. Are you implying that your magic could be dangerous? Yes! Fairy magic is always dangerous. It just is. It's just how it works. The fairy rolled her eyes, irritated. Like I told you many times, I'm neutral. My magic is not inherently dangerous. However, it could turn against you without warning, depending on how you use it. For instance, let's say that you ask me to kill your father. Neighboring lords could get wind of it and decide it would be the perfect time to launch an attack on your lands. I will not have deliberately initiated a war, but a war will stem from the murder perpetrated at your request. That would be a criminal action, incidentally, but I never object to the requests I get, should they be immoral or foul. I'm not here to judge. Anyway, if an army ever happens to storm into the castle, and you are taken hostage and threatened to be put to death, you will be glad to have a chance to ask me to release you or undo your wrongdoing. I understand now. Godmother? I'm not sure I know what to do. The fairy looked touched for an instant. She seemed to be gazing through her as if she were seeing someone else. I guess there's nothing we can do about it. If I had to give you one more piece of advice, it would be this one. Close your eyes and honestly tell me in what you believe the most. What is the strength that could get you out of a difficult situation? I'm sure I need to save Scum. I'm gonna save Scum. I did not get to save Scum. I can save Scum. I believe. What was the question again? What is the strength that could get you out of a difficult situation? I don't know. Granny, help me. Oh, what's this? Truth be told, I don't know exactly what I believe. I've never had to ask myself this question until today. A sympathetic look appeared on the creature's face. At least you're honest with yourself. It's a first step to the right direction. This does not exempt you from some introspection for all that. Take this opportunity to meditate. You greatly need to leave your comfort zone. Very well, Godmother. May I take some time to further ponder on that matter? Of course, I will come back tonight. You will give me your answer then. In the meantime, be strong. I sense black clouds above you, my child. Await her answer, Bone. And with that rather mysterious sentence, the fairy vanished. Oh, can I see her again? Is it bone or is it just. Oh no, it's vitiligo. Never mind. Does look like bone though, it's really cool. Entrenched in her distress, the princess decided to walk around in order to help her think. Wandering through the corridors like a lost soul, she noticed that all the retainers were busy preparing for the imminent wedding. Passing near the kitchen, she overheard scraps of conversation between some of them. I've heard the king has no money left. Yes, the marvelous donkey has been slaughtered. I know someone working at the stables who saw everything. That is appalling. How is the kingdom going to hold out? It was the only thing we had left. No idea. As far as I'm concerned, I'm thinking about leaving with my family. As a craftsman, I should be able to find work in another castle. How lucky. I would like to do the same, but it's impossible. I have to stay here until the very end, since I'm only a chambermaid. Yep, we crippled the kingdom's economy. GG, well played. Fiona sneaked out before getting noticed. Now was not the time to be congratulated by fake smiles. She stopped for a while in the garden to meditate and pray. God, if you can hear me, give me your strength. Amen. Amen. Later that night, as the heiress was rereading the courtly novel she had borrowed from the library under the candle's light, a scratch at the door interrupted her daydreaming. Panicked, she blew the dim flames out and laid in her bed, pretending to be asleep. Oh no, is it our dad? Oh, it's our dad! It's our dad! It's nighttime and it's our dad! The scratching noise intensified. A few minutes later, the creaking of the panel being slid open revealed the silhouette. No! The princess focused as much as she could on keeping her eyes shut as clear steps were coming closer to her. She waited, her heart pounding. Someone was standing right next to her. She could sense their breath. It was her father. She was sure of it. After what seemed like an eternity, she could once again hear the steps, this time further away in the corridor after the door was closed. That's creepy as fuck, Dad! The princess carefully opened her eyes. The donkey skin was lying just in front of her. Fiona could not hold back the exclamation of disgust. How dreadful! Poor thing! And yet, it's unlikely to bite you. The candles relit as if by magic while the fairy was making an entrance in her usual whirlwind. I see that the king provided the hide of the donkey you had asked for. So, you knew. My child, I know almost everything. Such is the benefit of being a fairy. Do you have an answer to give me? Do you have an answer to give me? Yes, madam. All things considered, I think I cannot make a wish under those conditions. I'm not ready to lose the person I love the most, and I would not know what to wish for either way. I see. This is unfortunate, as it would have allowed me to get back to sleep sooner. But this probably is the wisest choice given your situation. Nonetheless, even if I can help you outside a wish, my powers will be incredibly reduced. Would you not want to make a pact as a precaution? Fiona put her hand under her chin in a pensive stance, then nodded. I accept. I hardly have a choice if I want to avoid that loathsome wedding anyway. Let this be a deal then. In that case, come closer and grab my hands. You must not let go of them during the whole summoning. Understood? Yes, godmother. Perfect. Then let us proceed. Wait. What is it, love? I don't even know your name. The fairy suddenly seemed moved and, at the same time, almost
sorrowful, as if that question was bringing back painful memories. Names are powerful. Smart idea to ask for it, actually. I am known as Medea. Are you satisfied now? Show interest. Oh, there are. I heard that name was disrespectful to pronounce. I heard that it was disrespectful to pronounce the name of the fairy. Is that true? Or may I call you by that name? Our, the creature looked into the direction of the other side of the room as if she was ill at ease. It's quite complicated. Unless your name works like demon names do? Right, don't call demon names, you will summon them. Those are the demon summoning rules. If I happen to know it, I would gain absolute control over you, and that is something that you would rather avoid? You truly are a clever one. Medea is my fairy name, not my real one. The one I was given when I was still mortal. However, I forgot that name along with my old memories when I was corrupted, so I cannot reveal it, even if I wanted to, and it wouldn't be a good idea anyway. I believe in you, but entrusting a mortal with this sort of thing would have disastrous consequences. I see. May I know why you're called Medea then? Did you eat your own children? Is that why? That is the name chosen by the world tree when it read my heart. It is very likely based on what I have been as a human being. I believe Medea means to understand, to meditate. This is a very pretty name that shows you're a person possessing of high knowledge. The fairy couldn't suppress her laugh. Certainly. Are you satisfied this time? Yes, godmother. Let us begin. Medea grabbed the princess's frail hands and began to recite an incantation in an unknown language. Hey, thank you for the follow, X-Gate. Welcome. We're summoning a fairy right now. Join us. A magic circle soon appeared on her back. Oh man, I love the entire fairy's design, man. So good. Memory fragment detected. Oh, as she was singing louder and louder, quicker and quicker, the various flames located in the room seemed to gain strength. Eyes closed, the fairy appeared to be in trance. Fiona was scared by her exalted face. A strange feeling spread through her body as the distant beating of the drum came to her ears. Her sight started to become blurred. The heat was preventing her from thinking straight, and she already could not comprehend what was going on anymore. The fairy was unmistakably drawing near the climax of her incantation, and the princess had to struggle to keep standing. All of a sudden, a fierce burn pierced her chest, as if an invisible hand was branding her with red, hot iron. Then, nothing. The fairy's chant gradually stopped, and Fiona eventually got her 5 senses back. What happened? Something had changed in Medea. Her eyes were glowing with a troubling light, contrasting with the nonchalance she had displayed so far. Oh, it's red now. Used to be green. The link has been established. The fairy then kneeled before the dazed young woman. I am at your service. You can now summon me whenever you like. I would like to nevertheless specify that I remain a mere outsider. You are the one to make the decisions and shape your own fate. What do you mean? Well, in short, I will settle for executing your orders. It is up to you to ask me what you need. Fiona remained speechless. The fairy got back on her feet and put on her most beautiful smile. Oh, it's green again. When the princess was able to see her pupils again, the creature had seemingly turned back to normal. Call me whenever you've made up your mind, love. I'm going for a stroll. Ta-ta!
And with those caustic words, she evaporated again. At the same time, Nahima burst into the room. Oh, Princess, I'm so sorry. I was held back a good part of the day because of the incoming ceremony and I couldn't slip out sooner. Are you all right? I could be better, man. Oh, I'm embarrassed. You would have seen the fairy and your father since this morning. I guess you must be shaken. But I am here now and I will not leave your side. If I can help you in any way, just tell me. Thank you, Nahima. You're adorable. The young servant furtively put her hands on her cheek to hide her rosiness. It's the least I could do. Nahima will always be by your side, no matter what happens, have no doubt. The princess coughed us a way to redirect the conversation. I was able to talk with my godmother. She agrees to help me, but only if I explain what I need. She told me that she would not allow herself to decide what to do in my place. Fiona decided not to mention the pact in order to not worry her friend. The incantation had been frightening enough that the heiress didn't want to bring up the subject ever again. Furthermore, she was feeling shameful and was refusing to confess to her religious friend that she had been imprinted by the fairy's mark. Your religious friend is the one that really believes in fairies. You guys will be fine. That mark could not possibly be a good thing in the eyes of God. Oh no, not the eyes of God. Oh, that's good news. Have you decided how you're going to escape from your father? Not yet, but I'm working on it. I am going to sit in a corner of this room and avoid disturbing you then. Give me a sign if you need me. The princess took the time to lay on the bed and watch her breathing so that she would be perfectly calm and lucid. The decision she was about to make was crucial and she had no room for mistakes, therefore I will save scum. However, her mind was empty and she didn't know how to escape from her father without him finding her. Fiona glanced around the room in the hope of finding an idea. Her eyes laid upon where the fuck is our donkey skin? Her eyes fell on the donkey skin that her father had placed on her bed. It looked really hideous. A strange thought that crossed the young woman's mind. Nobody would ever suspect her to be a noble lady if she was disguised with such unsightly rags. If her godmother managed to get her out of the castle, she could pretend to be a peasant and avoid being recognized. That could be a solution. Disguise myself with the hide of an animal and flee with the complicity of the fairy. Other option is... Her eyes fell on the manuscript of Cligis that she had bought from the library and put on her desk. In that story, the characters go through similar hardships. Venice devises a ploy so that Cligis' uncle believes her to be dead, allowing her to escape with her lover without raising any suspicion. To achieve that goal, she asks her wet nurse, Thessala, who can brew potions, to make a filter that would make her appear dead. This could be a solution. Ask my godmother for a similar beverage and solicit Nahima to be my accomplice. With determination on her eyes, the princess stood back up. She waved to Nahima. I think I found an idea. Let us call my godmother without further delay. I am going to go for the fairy tale accurate choice of donkey skin. I'm already here. The two young women jolted upon hearing the fairy who had appeared without warning. So, this is your true form, whispered Nahima. How impressive. Medea's traits seemed to lighten up. Thank you. I will take that as a compliment. Anyway, let's get back to the reason for my presence. Speak, love. How can I help you? I need you to help me. Flee with the skin as a disguise. Escape the castle was a achievement we got. Godmother, I would like you to make me momentarily invisible to everyone's eyes so that I can escape the castle dressed in the donkey skin. Thus I would be free to leave without raising suspicion and could seek refuge in a neighboring lord.
An invisibility spell? That's not, it's not a terribly complicated request.
Really? Then, in that case, may I ask you something else?
I can't make any promises, but do explain. I'll see what I can do.
Since I will be disguised as a peasant, I need to bring with me evidence of my social status. No prince would ever accept to receive me solely on the basis of some fine words. This is why I would like to bring my most beautiful clothes along, without staining them. Thus, I could prove that I am indeed a princess. Moreover, the sight of those adornments will surely lift my spirits during my exile, for I am very well aware that it will take some time before this plan comes to fruition.
Is that all you desire?
Yes, godmother.
In that case, I have exactly what you need. I can let you have a bottomless chest. Thanks to it, you will be able to store anything you want, and it will follow you wherever you go by passing underground. The fairy turned to Kiona with a serious look on her face. In a few nimble gestures, she traced invisible words in the air and a staff appeared in her hand. Here's a hazel rod. When you will need your beautiful clothes, hit the ground with the rod and the magic chest will appear. I entrust it to you, so don't lose it.
Thank you, godmother. I will make sure of that.
Thrilled by the prospect of planning her escape, the princess kissed the fairy on the cheek with gratitude. Nahima, genuinely relieved, could not help but cheer her young mistress. How astute of you, princess! This is one well-conducted plan. Nobody will ever suspect that it's you hidden behind those hideous rags. We must prepare post-haste. What would you like to take on our trip? Hearing those words, Fiona froze. The servant did not seem to understand what her flight implied and displayed a pure, innocent smile, as if she was about to prepare with We're leaving her? I don't want to leave, best girl. Even though it was breaking her heart to do so, the heiress had to halt her enthusiasm.
Nahima, I'm sorry, but I must go alone.
Slowly, the young retainer's face crumpled. Was I not supposed to accompany you?
I would love for us to go together, really. I assure you. But think carefully about it. I'm fleeing in the middle of the night disguised as a pauperess to make sure nobody will recognize me. If you, my lady-in-waiting, are by my side, the guards will immediately figure out who I am. The mere fact that you disappear at the same time as me would be a glaring proof that you are my accomplice. That is why I have to escape alone. As long as I will be in exile, we will not be able to see each other.
No! Best girl!
Nahima opened her mouth, ready to retort, but no sound came out. She looked down, helpless,
before trying to clutch at straws. But, princess, will you be able to handle things on your own? I could prove useful in your adventure, and my presence will not change the fact that you are on the run anyway.
I know it will be hard, but I must go alone. We hardly have a choice, Nahima. We have to stay here if I want to have a chance to pass unnoticed.
But it cannot be. The servant lowered her eyes again as if she were looking for arguments. Had she been attentive, Fiona would have noticed that Nahima was anxiously twisting her fingers and that her voice was shaking. Yet, she didn't see anything, or rather, she chose to stay blind. Are you going to leave me here? After everything we've been through? After all those years of loyalty? Even though I was ready to follow you to the end of the earth? Why, princess? The young woman was sobbing, her eyes full of tears. Eris couldn't help but be moved. Nahima usually kept her emotions buried, only showing a reassuring smile. It was the first time she was seeing her friend like this since the death of her mother. And even back then, she had quickly dried her tears to appear stronger, to show Kiona that she could count on her.
Only today did the heiress realize that her longtime accomplice was not the infallible girl she thought she knew. This scene deeply disturbed her, but her decision was taken. She couldn't allow her servant to foil her plan, even if she was convinced of her good intentions. She had to find a way to console her. Fiona took on a soft tone and tried to put a smile back on her face. It's not irrevocable, Naima. Once I've managed to obtain protection from a lord, you will be able to join me. Truly? The servant stared at her mistress with prying eyes. Of course, this is only temporary, I tell you. As soon as I will be out of the woods, my priority will be to send a letter to tell you where I am and invite you to come see me. Do you promise? You're not going to forget your Nahima? The princess flashed a beaming smile and declared solemnly, I promise you. The young Moor immediately stood up straight, back to her usual posture, and cleared her throat. In that case, I, Nahima, give you permission to leave. You may have my blessing, princess, but do not keep me waiting for too long. Days will seem long without you. Oh, we can come back. We can come back for best girl. Right? We're coming back for best girl. Before the impenetrable eyes of the fairy, who was observing the scene, the two girls threw themselves into each other's arms. While the servant was delighted by her mistress's display of affection, the princess was already protecting herself before this unknown prince who was waiting for her somewhere, the prince she would need to impress. The young Moor stopped the stirring embrace with a comforting face, her thoughts wandering elsewhere, her blood boiling in her veins. Eager, she grasped the rod and sharply hit the ground. A chest promptly materialized in front of her amazed eyes. Fiona hastened to open her wardrobe in order to gather her most shining dresses, as well as her most expensive pieces of jewelry. Naively, she esteemed that her priority was to go all out to be sure to dazzle the lord she would visit. It was therefore with certain vanity that she was surreptitiously admiring herself in the mirror each time she tried on an outfit or an accessory before carefully putting it in the chest. Although the dresses granted by her father were not poisoned gifts, eternal reminders of the morbid fate that was threatening her, she couldn't help but find them to her liking. She couldn't help but tell herself that it would be such a waste to throw them away. In a matter of minutes, the magic chest got filled, and the night advancing, it appeared to the princess that it was high time to leave the palace. Fiona donned the donkey skin with a bit of disgust, then turned to her friend and the fairy. I must go. Wish me luck. One moment, Angel. I still have to cast a spell. Let me see. A bibbidi, a bobbidi, a boo. With a gesture as deft as the previous ones, Medea traced some impenetrable symbols while mumbling. A thin veil then covered the princess from head to toe, making her entirely transparent. There you are, invisible. Be discreet nonetheless, for you are not immaterial. You would only need to make contact with a guard to arouse his suspicion. From the bottom of my heart, thank you. One last piece of advice, if I may. It is very dark outside, and it would seem wiser to me to steal a torch before diving into an unknown. Otherwise, you will not see further than the tip of your nose. The torch will be momentarily invisible too, should you place it under this magic veil, but know that the spell will end as soon as you put a foot outside of the palace. I am deeply grateful for everything you're doing for me. Well, I am your godmother, after all. I shall leave at once. I promise my exile will be short, Nahima. Be careful, princess. With those brief farewells, Kiona vanished in the castle's corridors under the defeated look of her servant. Still disappointed and worried, she exclaimed in a sigh, Will I ever see her again? The fairy, who had stayed oddly silent during their embrace, tried to comfort her and put a kind hand on her shoulder. Okay, this is my new ship now. It's Kiona Fairy now. There, don't cry. I know I should not, but I have a bad feeling about this. as if nothing will ever be the same again. You who are so powerful, can you see the future? Can you tell me if everything's going to be all right? The limbo creature was deep in thought for a moment before quietly answering. If my third eye is right, I think the princess is not going to get very far. Oh no, we're doomed! Is the donkey skin the bad end? A few meters from there, Kiona was stealthily sneaking through the castle's corridors. Because of the upcoming wedding ceremony planned by the king, the retainers were bustling in every direction and moving forward. Without bumping into one of them was more difficult than Kiona had imagined. Following her godmother's advice, she stopped a few moments to unhook a torch from its stand. Suddenly, there was a metallic clinking behind her back. Breathtaking, the princess rushed to conceal the torch under her invisibility veil and leaned against the pillar. Sure enough, a guard who was patrolling appeared. With dark circles under the eyes, he inspected his surroundings while whistling. To her great horror, he halted a mere centimeters away from the young woman. Fancy that. Would have sworn that there was a torch on that spot. I'm pretty sure I saw one earlier while doing my tour, however, strange. The guard scratched his head before shrugging with resignation. I bet that brat Gaetan was stealing again. I did warn the boy that I would denounce him at the slightest repeat offense. I've been way too patient with him. Fiona heard him grumble out loud as he was continuing on his way. The work is tedious enough as it is. I really don't need to have a family's death on my conscience. I know well that his mother is sick, but this is going too far. Relieved, the princess caught her breath and dashed forward to a back door Nahima had indicated earlier. It was a pathway used by retainers to avoid crossing the great portcullis and save time. Following the hidden staircase, she found herself outside as the steps led straight into a moat. Luckily for her, a tiny rowboat was also tied to a stake nearby, and all she had to do was use it to cross the stretch of water, still equipped with her torch. Well, it was easier than I thought, she exclaimed while looking back. A new file has been added to the archive. I'm gonna save. Are we still... Route B1. Okay, we made it to a route. I think that's about it for me because it's like I've been reading out loud for 3 hours and my throat is kind of feeling it. But yeah, that is like the common route of Chronotopia, Second Skin. It is a fairy tale visual novel by French developers Tremendous Merchant. It's part of the Fall in Love visual novel festival on Steam. I will get the link as soon as I am able to. That also means that I will be playing visual novels from today until October 1. That's gonna be a while. I'm gonna take you guys, and once again, thank you Deviation for the raid. I'm gonna take you guys to Sabi. I'm gonna take you guys to Sabi. She's playing Ratatan because like Larry was asking earlier, Mags, are you gonna play Ratatan? Yeah, probably. Maybe after the visual novel fest, so I can like play a game where I don't have to talk. If you're not a subscriber, this is a raid message. If you're a subscriber, this is our raid message. We're going to raid Sabinyani. Let me just press the raid message. There we go. Who's doing a subathon? I'm not sure when I stream next. Probably tomorrow. I'm waiting on a few demos to come out, but I am kind of swamped with games for Visual Novel Fest. I want to play them all. The problem is I will be reading everything out loud and it's taking a toll on my throat. So maybe new visual novel tomorrow starting 7 p.m. 7 p.m. GMT plus 8 time zone. Let's read Sabinyani. And until next time, maya muli. Paalam. Bye-bye. I hope you enjoyed this game. Check it out on Steam. Chronotopia Second Skin. Bye!